Black Zetsu. Uchiha Madara. Zhao Yuchen raised his eyebrows slightly, with a look of interest in his eyes. After being exposed by Uzumaki Nagato, whether Obito believes in the existence of Kagayaheim or not, and the true purpose of infinite Tsukuyomi, there will definitely be a gap in distrust between Black Zetsu and Black Zetsu. The two are now using and relying on each other, so Obito's whole card is Black Zetsu, which is unexpected but reasonable. But this Uchiha Madara. It should be that Black Zetsu saw that Obito and Nagato were out of control, so he resurrected somehow. The high probability is impure world reincarnation. This old bastard has survived for thousands of years. Even the quilt of the Uchiha clan can be changed. It is naturally not a problem to learn the forbidden technique invented by Senju Tobirama. Zhao Yuchen was thinking secretly in his heart, but he didn't stop his movements. Instead he manipulated Susanoo to increase the output. Boom. 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 Following the 10-fist sword slashing on Obito's blue Susanoo Titan several times, a powerful force struck, directly crushing chakra. Obito had no choice but to remove Susanoo due to the consumption of a large amount of chakra, otherwise the physical load would be too great. But the next moment, an even bigger Susan Titan in dark blue rose up from the ground, directly enveloping Uchiha Obito. This giant grew to hundreds of meters in the blink of an eye, with wings sprouting from its back, giving people a strong deterrent force. There are two voices standing between the eyebrows of the blue Susan Titan, which are Black Zetsu and Uchiha Madara. Huh. Zhao Yuchen showed an unexpected expression, which could even be said to be puzzled. The Uchiha Madara at the center of Susanoo's eyebrows does not have the impure world reincarnation logo, that is to say, the real resurrection. And the Uchiha Madara who was really resurrected, because his eyes transformed into a 6 paths level Rinnegan, and his Rinnegan really existed in the world, that is, one in the hands of Obito and Nagato, so he should have become a person without eyes. But the current situation is that he is staring at a pair of eternal Mangekyo Sharingan. Finally, and what surprised Yuchen the most, Uchiha Madara was actually dominated by Black Zetsu. As expected of an old cunt, it seems that the backhand prepared for thousands of years is far beyond my belief. It will fail in the end, and it is probably no different from Uchiha Madara being killed by the plot. Zhao Yuchen felt emotional in his heart. It was supposed to be bedtime, but I had to pick up the diary to record it, because too many important things happened. The diary crit bonus rewarded me with a big, magical clairvoyance, which I used to find Uchiha Obito. I wanted to deal with Uchiha Obito directly, but he should have used Uchiha Fugaku's eternal stand to know the future in advance, and set up an enchantment to trap me, preventing me from escaping with Flying Thunder God and seeking resources. But I don't panic at all, because in the face of absolute strength, these are false. Not bad, as I expected, there is Uchiha Obito in the Kamui space, and Shadow Clone didn't come in handy. Uchiha Obito obviously didn't know that I would be Susanoo. This surprise, I believe he was very happy. And now, he finally used his whole card and called Black Zetsu to join forces to pay the money. What really surprised me was that Uchiha Madara was actually revived in a real sense, but her eyes didn't become shattered, but she had an eternal Mangekyo Sharingan, and what was even more strange was that she was controlled by Black Zetsu. Not being able to tell Uchiha Madara the true identity of Black Zetsu, not being able to watch them dog eat dog, is really a great loss of fun. While writing in a diary with all my heart, I can tell some people that you are safe. On the one hand, Yuchen did not hold back and continued to control Susanoo to fight Uchiha Madara. Although his Susanoo is much smaller and doesn't have wings, but because of the blessing of chakra, he doesn't panic when facing Uchiha Madara. Seeing that Yuchen was still in the mood to write a diary, all the girls couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief. Hinata. The diary is updated, indicating that everything is under the control of Yuchen. Big brother, sisters, I will go to bed first, good night. No matter how dangerous the show may seem, as long as Yuchen writes his diary, Hinata thinks he's pretty relaxed. Because people can't deceive themselves, they can comfortably write a diary during the war, so that doesn't explain the problem. It's better to sleep well, keep your spirits up, and see Yuchen tomorrow when you are beautiful and make him breakfast. Hinata. By the way, at Nohara Lin, sister, I'm sorry for being a bit angry with you earlier, please don't take it to heart. Nohara Lin. It's okay, it should be. Karama Yukumo. Hinata-chan, go to sleep, I will send you a private message after the matter is over, I want to watch the live broadcast until the last second. Ino. Sister Yukumo also remembered to inform me that my chakra is not enough, so I will watch the live broadcast. Due to the sudden incident, Yin's family is not together now. And people with a strong amount of chakra, such as Tsunade and Hakura, are in the Valley of the End. There are not many people in chakra itself, but they can't bear the consumption of watching live broadcasts. For a while, not only Hinata and Ino, but also Tamari and Samui all quit the live broadcast room. Samui. Before going to bed, I have another question. What does Yu-Chen mean by the last words, the resurrection of Uchiha Madara, the possession of eternal Mangekyo Sharingan, and being controlled by Black Zetsu, the three are abnormal? Makoto. About this, just ask at Kagaya directly, this one is fine. Kyuko Nai. That is to say, Obito thinks that he can change the future, that is Black Zetsu. Tsunade. Resurrection in the full sense. Sure enough, the grandpa next to me has gone crazy. Yuhihong. Speaking of first Hokage, you may know that Uchiha Madara is controlled by Black Zetsu and will be blown up directly? Tsunade. There is a picture. Z Yuan. Your Majesty, can you explain this matter to us? Kagaya. Kagaya. The means of resurrection, Yu-Chen wrote in his diary, and I don't know which one Black Zetsu used specifically. Kagaya. As for the eyes, Uchiha Madara is the reincarnation of Indra, and its soul has the 6 paths yin power left by Yuya. If it is transplanted with 3-hook jade, it is not difficult to use eternal Mangekyo Sharingan. Kagaya. As for controlling Uchiha Madara, although it is Black Zetsu's housekeeping skill, I also have some doubts about it. If Black Zetsu can directly control the will of Uchiha Madara, then he can control the will of the past Indra to turn around. If he can do this, he can completely rely on himself to collect the tailed beast and resurrect her. Where do you need layout, conspiracy calculations and guidance? If Black Zetsu really wants to do this, he may fight Yuya's soul in the Pure Land, which is not in line with the question. Wei Yoruichi time, I really can't imagine how he did it. At this time, Black Zetsu glanced at Uchiha Obito, with a normal expression, surprised and delighted that he could do it. Surprised that Uchiha Obito has grown to such a height without knowing it, he feels more and more out of control. Surprisingly, Uchiha Obito actually designed to trap Yu-Chen, which happened to coincide with him. This time, he doesn't have to be afraid that Uchiha Madara will escape from his control, and he can trap Yu-Chen. Yu-Chen. Today you will surely die. Black Zetsu looked at Yu-Chen from a distance, and said, Madara, crush him. Hearing this, Uchiha Madara formed seals with both hands to increase the output of Emperor Chakra. The speed of Blue Susanoo's sword swing began to increase, and she began to accumulate energy. Boom. The 2 long knives were swung out, and the energy surged, and the earth began to shake. The statues of Uchiha Madara and Senju Hashirama were directly turned into fly ash under the impact of the airwave. Outside the barrier, Senju Hashirama, who was excited to see the appearance of Uchiha Madara, was stunned. Madara, what are you doing? That's our statue, a symbol of our friendship and ideals. You fight, and it's your fault to destroy the statue. Saying that, Senju Hashirama clapped his hands together, creating a huge wooden golem directly, while he himself stood on top of the wooden golem, and soon reached the height of Uchiha Madara. He tried to get the attention of Uchiha Madara with this. But he made such a big noise, but he couldn't make Uchiha Madara in the barrier look at him and didn't say hello to him. Madara. Senju Hashirama yelled, boom. Within the barrier, Susanoo, the complete body controlled by Uchiha Madara, suddenly stopped. Uchiha Madara, who was in Susan, turned to look at Senju Hashirama, and murmured, Hashirama. Black Zetsu. Yu-Chen. Everyone. The DNA moved. How can it be? Seeing that Uchiha Madara stopped attacking and looked towards Senju Hashirama, Black Zetsu felt a shock in his heart, and quickly sensed the status of the Box of Elysium. The Box of Elysium claims to be able to fulfill a wish of the person who opened it, but of course it cannot be fulfilled. What is really contained in the box is destruction and fear. It was discovered by Otsutsuki Yuya in a special place after sealing Kagaya, the ultimate weapon of the era. There are 4 human faces on the 4 sides of the Box of Bliss, which are joy, anger, sorrow, and joy. There is a special magic formula arranged in the box, which is born with enlightenment, moves with enlightenment, and ends with enlightenment. In the theater version, it can absorbing and accumulating negative emotions of human beings becomes a powerful confinement over time. And he has already checked the location of the Box of Bliss, and from time to time, like changing the Sage of 6 Paths stone tablet, he will go to the Box of Bliss to move his hands and feet, such as putting his own evil thoughts. Its evil thoughts are Otsutsuki Kagaya evil thoughts, which are the top-level power of the Six Paths level. Over time, this place of bliss has become part of his control. He has not used it all the time, because it is a whole card, and also because Ghost Lamp City is very suitable for swallowing negative emotions. A few days ago, Uchiha Madara was fooled by him to open the box of bliss, and his body was immediately occupied by the negative energy in it, which directly helped him break free from the shackles of Pure Land and Yellow Spring, and repaired his body. The Mangekyo Sharingan that Uchiha Madara currently owns is not re-evolved by transplanting the 3 Tomo Sharingan, but has too much negative energy, which directly helps it to be reborn. However, when it comes to Rinnegan, it is the category of yin-yang escape technique, which needs to combine the power of 6 paths yang and the power of 6 paths yin, so I don't have it. Fine. Through the box of Elysium, Black Zetsu discovered that Uchiha Madara's will soul is still deeply imprisoned. Then how he disobeyed his order and responded to Senju Hashirama. Hashi Hot Mom, in Uchiha Madara's eyes flashed a flash of fighting intent originating from the body's instinct, but was quickly suppressed by the negative energy, and continued to carry out Black Zetsu's order instead. Gobama of Yusaka. Uchiha Madara formed the mudra with both hands, and the complete body Susanoo followed suit. Immediately, more than a dozen blue chakra gigantic goblins appeared beside Susanoo completely. These hooked jades are linked together, forming a circle. It seems to become a string of Buddha beads, and fly towards Zhao Yuchen. This is for real. Yuchen's eyes were fixed, and the Guyu of Zero Yusaka was also thrown. Yusaka's Gobama is Susanoo's general ninjutsu. As long as the second stage of Susanoo is activated, you can condense Gobama and throw it at the opponent for long-range attacks. If you are a person who has opened the full body of Susanoo, you can use it in combination with Guyu. Boom. 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 Guyu continued to hit the string of Guyu, and the impact ratio covered, cleaned and turned one piece of forest after another into flat ground. This is the combat performance of the surface level, and it is not the weakest level. Boom. Gold Susanoo continued to retreat, and the few breaths were a few kilometers. This Zhao Yuchen tried to distance himself from Yusaka Guyu. If he was hit, Susanoo would be disabled. He didn't like this feeling. Yi Kang. Here, the situation is reversed, and Yuchen is suppressed all of a sudden. Makoto. Complete Susanoo, the power is completely above common Susanoo. Sam Yi. Just look at the body shape, Yuchen's blessing of Sage Mode is useless. Black Soil. First Hokage was gearing up to make a move, that was blocked by the barrier. By Wooden Golem. Didn't you all say you were going to sleep? Female. If you don't speak, no one will treat you as dumb. Even with the blessing of the immortal chakra, it is still a bit worse than the full body Susanoo. It seems that when Susanoo is opened to a full body, there will still be quality changes. Seeing that the inherited Yusaka Guyu didn't change at all, Zhao Yuchen's eyes were fixed. Then let you try this trick. Yuchen controlled Susanoo to condense a huge chakra shuriken, and then blessed it with Kamui. Kamui Shuriken. A shuriken flew out and collided with the string of Yusaka's hooked jade. Immediately, a large piece of space distorted, swallowing Yusaka's Guyu, and disappeared at the same time. Seeing this scene, Uchiha Obito's face was gloomy and terrifying. He didn't expect that Kamui could be used in combination with Susanoo. Is he the owner of this Mangekyo Sharingan, or is it Zhao Yuchen? Common immortal Susanoo is not enough, so I can only add more. Controlling Susanoo to stand steadily, Zhang Chui lined up to the ground with one hand. Summoning technique. Boom. Accompanied by a huge smoke rising, 9 tails appeared in front of Susanoo, with potato chips transformed by chakra on his mouth, and mist in his eyes. Everyone. Kushina. How can Yuchen summoning 9 tails? Naruto's abdomen seal is released. By Wooden Golem. It's nothing. I followed your arrangement and secretly guarded near Uzumaki Naruto. He sleeps comfortably now, and Matabi can still feel the chakra of 9 tails from him. Terumi Mei. Could it be summoning even if the tail beast is sealed? Ju Shingna. I don't remember. By Wooden Golem. My seal is not good, and Konoha's seal is definitely not good. Tsunade. I remember that Uchiha Madara couldn't do it in its heyday. Ju Zuna. Maybe the strength is strong enough, but Jinchuriki will die immediately, which is equivalent to using summoning to kill Jinchuriki, the chakra and strength you need to imagine. Conan. Could it be that Yuchen has mastered other methods? For a while, Jongen was very different because of Yuchen summoning's 9 tails. 9 tails. How did he get summoned? At the top of Wooden Golem, Senju Hashirama scratched his head in doubt. I remember this guy is sealed in Naruto's body now, right? The 8-sign seal composed of 2-4 image seals in the ghoul seal are quite troublesome to solve. It's easy for them, but summoning 9 tails can't do it through the seal. Maybe Yu-Chen improved the sealing technique. Senju Tobarama's voice sounded in Hashirama's ear. Tobarama, when did you come here? Brother, when you were affectionately holding Madara. What kind of affection? I'm warning him to be messed around. So, is he listening to you? He seems to be ignoring you. Don't tell me, Madara, who will ignore it, is abnormal. You can see if his current state is not right, Senju Hashirama said nervously. Senju Tobarama. He's tired of complaining. This Senju Hashirama should change his surname. Call him a few more times, Senju Tobarama said with a cold face. Hearing this, Senju Hashirama immediately started, Madala, and, Madala. It is louder and more affectionate than it is called again and again. Senju Tobarama's complexion also continued to darken, and the writing on his forehead became darker and darker. He's flipping a bad switch. Fortunately, the harvest is good. Brother, Uchiha Madara should be controlled by someone. What did you say? Senju Hashirama looked disbelieving. That was Uchiha Madara, who was once the strongest ninja except him. Now I have awakened Rinnegan, who controlled him. It should be the will of that black Zetsu, Otsutsuki Kagaya. Senju Tobarama guessed with a serious face, but even it is strange that he can do this. What's so strange? If he could have done this Chengdu, he would have rescued Otsutsuki Kagaya long ago. After casually explaining, Senju Tobarama cast Flying Thunder God and came to Tsunade, and then said, Suna, tell me what you know about Otsutsuki Kagaya. Second Grandpa. Tsunade wondered, why are you suddenly interested in Otsutsuki Kagaya? I suspect that Uchiha Madara is controlled by Black Zetsu, Senju Tobarama bluntly said, but there is always a strange feeling that cannot be described. Hearing that Senju Tobarama also felt that Uchiha Madara was under control, Tsunade dared not hide it immediately and told what he knew. During this process, Yu-Chen and Nine Tails greeted each other and displayed their mighty costumes Susanoo. This is a combination of Susanoo and Tailed Beast. Yu-Chen equips Nine Tails with Susanoo's armor, so that Nine Tails has the absolute defense of Susanoo's armor and can also get the support of Nine Tails' chakra. If it weren't for the fear of affecting the evolution of Baian, he wouldn't be so troublesome. Nice feeling. Nine Tails roared and began to gather Tailed Beast Bomb. Can play Susan, but still play Uchiha Madara. I will forgive you for summoning me without saying hello. Seeing this scene, Black Zetsu's expression changed slightly. It seems that the box of bliss can't hide the scarf. Boom. The Tailed Beast Bomb hits Blue's full body Susanoo head on. The powerful shock wave spread, and the smoke and dust filled the air for a while, but the surrounding barriers remained motionless. Summoning technique. Without the slightest hesitation, Black Zetsu cast the summoning technique to bring the box of bliss to his side. The next moment, Black's power surged out of the box, and all of it poured into Uchiha Madara's body. Outside the barrier, Zayuan, who possessed the post-awakened perception of cage-level chakra, instinctively covered her chest, and said subconsciously, it's so weird that the intensity of the breath is still higher than the enchantment. Weird atmosphere. All the girls turned their heads to look inside the barrier, observing Uchiha Madara. What is that? When they saw the box of bliss, all the women couldn't help being startled. This is something beyond their understanding and cognition. Those 4 faces look eerie. Sure enough, Uchiha Madara is under control, it should be that thing. Senju Tobarama's expression froze, and a strong desire to explore arose in his eyes. It is impossible for him not to be interested in something that can control a strong man like Uchiha Madara. Maybe used well, it can turn evil Uchiha into good Uchiha? And Uchiha Madara can be completely resurrected, it should also be related to this box. If they get it, can also be revived. Senju Tobarama wished he could fly into the barrier. Damn it, it's hot. Senju Hashirama noticed the box of Elysium next to Uchiha Madara, and his entire face was filled with a scowl. His best friend is controlled, he can't stand it. Makoto. At Kagaya. What is this? Kagaya-ji. To be honest, I don't know. Tsunade. You don't know. Terumi Mei. How is it possible? Zion. There will be such a situation. Azuki Shion. This is something that Black Zetsu brought out, you should know it. For Kagaya-ji's answer, the girls found it incredible. As the ancestor of chakra, shouldn't she know everything related to chakra? And Black Zetsu, the embodiment of her will, is able to find this box that controls Uchiha Madara, visible means. How could Kagaya-ji not know? Kagaya, you seem to have some misunderstandings about the concubine. The concubine has been sealed for thousands of years. In the past few hundred years, Yu-kun told me about the changes in the ninja world from time to time. I know all the information, and then Black Zetsu will occasionally send it back some information, but not comprehensive. Kagaya. In thousands of years, too many things can happen, and there are things that I don't know about. It's normal, isn't it? Kagaya. For example, in Otsutsuki, if it wasn't for Yu-chen, the concubine would not know that he was still alive. Hearing what she said, although the girls were puzzled, they didn't ask much. Tsunade. Speaking of Yu-chen, do you think he knows the origin of the box? Yi Kang. The answer is yes, indeed, because Yu-chen's diary was updated. But this also made them feel relieved, not worrying about Yu-chen anymore. In such a fierce battle, I still have time to write Diary X and Notepad V, so I don't think it's dangerous. The Box of Bliss, there are so many good things in the ninja world, I didn't think that there are still things for a while. Actually, this is just a joke. In fact, I don't think there will be a Box of Bliss in this world at all. The story triggered by this Box of Bliss is extremely, super, invincible and funny. The name is Blood Prison, and the main character is of course Naruto. I thought I was going to tell the end of a ninja version of Shawshank, but after reading it, I thought it was a child's brain-dead work. Female. They have known Yu-chen for so long, they have seen Yu-chen complain about the brain damage of Uchiha and his son, they have seen him complain about Sarutobi Hiruzen's cheat teammates, and they have also seen him complain about the basic love between Madara and Hashi's mother. But never like this time, the lines between the lines are full of speechlessness. Since the Box of Ultimate Bliss exists, then I will put in the effort to write it, and the reward is that it will belong to me later. Well, that's very Zhao Yu-chen. The Box of Bliss is after Kagaya was sealed, and Otsutsuki Yuya discovered by accident before creating ninja, that it has the ability to swallow the four emotions of joy, anger, sorrow, and joy, which can be transformed into destruction and fear after special magic inside the box. No wonder I feel so uncomfortable. Zayuan put her hands on her chest and said, my light escape ability should be the nemesis of this ability. At that time, Otsutsuki Yuya of Ten Tails Jinchuriki found that he could not destroy the Box of Bliss, so he sealed it in a shrine somewhere in what is now Sonobu village. After Yuya became Ten Tails Jinchuriki, he couldn't be destroyed. In the first ball space, Kagaya rolled his eyes and shook. When Otsutsuki Yuya is not a Ten Tails Jinchuriki, he can join forces with Otsutsuki Hamura to seal her. After stripping the 10 tails from her body and sealing them back into her body, her fighting power at its peak should be comparable to the fruit she just swallowed. This thing should be comparable to the artifacts of my Otsutsuki clan. Kagaya couldn't help but feel excited. Black Zetsu seems to have mastered the method of controlling the Box of Elysium, doesn't that mean she has mastered it? With this thing, maybe we can fight against the Otsutsuki clan? For a moment, Kaguya's heart was surging, but the girls are naturally jealous. Conan. Even Sage of Six Paths can't destroy something that can only be sealed, but it is actually controlled by Black Zetsu. Does it mean that Kagaya is stronger than Otsutsuki Yuya? Kagaya. Isn't this obvious? If I didn't use a considerable part of Ten Tails' power to combine the blessings of this person's human beings to create Yuya and Hamura, they wouldn't be able to compete with me. Samui. But Sage of Six Paths is no match for you, an incarnation of will, I really didn't expect it. Kagaya. In terms of vision, knowledge, structure, and means, Hamura ultimately lacks too much. Tsunade. It is indeed the ancestor of chakra, how can the mere Sage of Six Paths compare with you? Kagaya. Not bad. Kagaya. This Box of Bliss should be comparable to those of the Otsutsuki family. It is a great opportunity for those with strength to live in it. Azuki Shion. Then, Kagaya-ji, did you discover the Box of Bliss back then? Kagaya. To tell the truth, she had absolutely no idea there was something. And this thing seems to be discovered by Otsutsuki Yuya. However, Otsutsuki Yuya found that he couldn't control it, so there was no chance. It has to be her. Yuhihong. Then, Kagaya-ji, have you guessed the existence of the Box of Elysium? Kagaya. Anko. It seems that this thing will soon belong to Mr. Yu-chen, you want to grab it from him? Kagaya. Kagaya. People with strength live there, I'm talking about Hamura. Wow. Oh. The girls let out a strange laugh. Kagaya-ji has improved, she can deceive herself with her eyes open. But they didn't expose this sister. Respect is mutual. Speaking of which, they were even more curious about what Yu Chen wrote in the diary. After a cursory look, they found that there were thousands of words of new content directly added. Ju Xingna. Although I guessed that Yu Chen's diary should be the same as my group chat, as long as I want to, I can embody the content on the text, not writing word by word, but more than 1,000 words are too much bar. Tsunade. The point is that it doesn't affect him at all to continue to fight Uchiha Madara. With pictures. After putting on Susanoo, Yu Chen started hitting Uchiha Madara with Susanoo in reverse. There is a black power flowing out of the box of bliss, plus the power of Uchiha Madara. The two sides are incompatible with each other, and they are evenly matched, changing the landscape. With amazement, the girls continued to look down. Hundreds of years later, during the Sengoku period, Grass Ninja Village was established. With the help of the power of the Box of Bliss, its leader almost became the second world ruled by Kagaya-ji. At that time, the descendants of ninja, as well as Senju and Uchiha, was suppressed. But in the end, the leader of Kusanagi Village couldn't control his self-confidence and desire, and was swallowed by the Box of Bliss, and the Box of Bliss was also sealed by some kind of power, leaving only a section of legendary. Female. As for the shameless synonym, I like to swing between Iwagakure and Konoha Village. There is Maso, who likes to steal blood and follow the limit, and Shinobi Village has such a glorious past. They suddenly understood why Yu Chen was talking nonsense. As far as this past is concerned, it is very nonsense. Since then, this matter has been passed down within the Kusanagi village. Over time, those descendants who do not understand the specific process think that if they get the Box of Bliss and open it, they can fulfill any wish, even becoming the master of the world. And now, nearly 1,000 years later, Wu Wei, a descendant of Sao Ninja Village, successfully found the Box of Bliss. His son Wugo was devoured by the Box of Elysium because of his curious research. So Wu Wei took the Box of Bliss and ran to Ghost Lamp City, pretending to guard the prison city in accordance with the regulations, but in fact he wanted the Box of Bliss to swallow the negative emotions of the prisoners, so that he could make a wish to revive his son after opening the Box of Bliss. Foreground summary. This is the end. Black Zetsu actually got this thing, which was beyond my expectation, but it makes sense after thinking about it carefully. After all, he is an old ninja in the ninja world, so he must have investigated this thing. But he used this thing to revive Uchiha Madara, and took complete control, and plotted against me. It seems that he really wants to kill me. Kagaya. Makoto. Actually, since Black Zetsu appeared, I wanted to say, can Kagaya-ji control your willpower? Kushina. This fight Yu Chen-kun is more diligent and dedicated than Uchiha Obito. Tsunade. I have used artifacts like the Box of Bliss, and I really put my heart into it. Karama Yukumo. You don't mean to say one thing and do another, do you? All the girls questioned. Kagaya. Kagaya. Let me ask you, if you accidentally make a mistake if you are an avatar, will you recognize it as your real deity? That must be denial. If the avatar is not used to take the blame, it is meaningless. Kagaya. For me, Black Zetsu is more or less the same as Yuya Yu Chen. You also know that I was sealed by Yuya Hamura, so. Kagaya. What does Black Zetsu have to do with me, Kagaya-ji? Don't claim to be a concubine, it seems really serious. Makoto. You have learned to quibble, I am very pleased. Kyuko Nai. Hold on, maybe we will really accept you sometime. Z Yuan. With such a crown, I love it, love it. Xianglin. Sister Ziyuan is pretty good, she has mastered the correct way to open the chat not long after joining the group. Z Yuan. Although I just joined the group, I have read every sentence in Yu Chen Big Brother's diary at least 5 times, so I learned his way of speaking naturally. Karama Yukumo. More than 5 times. It seems that I only read it 3 times or it is too little. Set a small goal and read it at least 10 times in the future. Xianglin. If you say that, I must read it at least once. Ju Zuna. It's burning, then I have to watch it 12 times. Terumi Mei. 13. By Wooden Golem. I bid 14 times, if there is anyone who still wants to bid, I will continue to increase the price, if not, I will announce that Terumi Mei wins. Female. The skin is your skin. Hinata. Fortunately, I will review the content of the diary from beginning to end every day when I have free time. Now I have read most of the content more than 20 times, otherwise it would be a little stressful. Hey guys, the real king of roles is here. 30 days have passed since Yu Chen started writing his diary. If you watch it once a day, that means you've watched it 30 times. Of course, as the days increase, the content of the diary will become more and more, and now Hinata has to perform tasks, so it may not be so easy to read it all over again. But at least for now, the number of times Hinata reads the diary is beyond their reach. Uzumaki Karen. Hinata-chan, didn't you go to sleep? Hinata. Yu-chen big brother is not completely safe. How can I sleep? It's just because I don't have enough chakra. I don't watch the live broadcast anymore. Fragrant Phosphorus. Do you want me to help you? Hinata. No, you must be dishonest. Fragrant Phosphorus. I am contributing to your future domination of the world. Hinata. You are saying that. I will tell Yu-chen big brother about it. Fragrant Phosphorus. Well, I was wrong. Several people chatted in a good atmosphere. Of course, they did not forget to read what Yu-chen wrote. The foreground summary is over. Let me start from the beginning of the story. The theatrical version is called Blood Prison, and the protagonist is of course our son of destiny, Uzumaki Naruto. I heard that this theatrical version was written by a novelist, so I was looking forward to it, but after watching it, I directly made a black question mark face. Female. Got it, we are mentally prepared. This short plot is extremely brain-dead. The timeline of the story, referring to Naruto already knows Sage Mode and Spiral Shuriken, and fourth Raikage Eye's arm has not been broken by Sasuke's Amaterasu, and Naruto and Killer Bee know each other. It should be in Pain's invasion and destruction of Konoha after the village, before the Five Cages Conference signed for the Fourth Ninja World War. Seeing this, Conan subconsciously glanced at Uzumaki Nagato, who was solving the barrier in front of him, with a smile on the corner of his mouth. Conan. Pain destroyed Konoha before the opening of the Fourth Ninja World. I remember Yu-chen wrote earlier that the Fourth Ninja War was held by Obito. In order to capture 9 tails and 8 tails, the entire ninja world united protect them. Conan. If my guess is correct, Nagato was defeated by Naruto, and he should use the natural technique of heretics to rescue the people who were killed in the battle. Tsunade. Conan, you don't need to explain so much, we all understand, and no matter what happened originally, everything has changed after Yu-chen's arrival and intervention. Ino. Yes, Sister Conan, if it was the original trajectory, you would definitely not have time to grow flowers with me. This is a different life. Conan. I just want to say, thank you very much Mr. Yu-chen. Female. To put it bluntly, this story is that Wu Wei felt that it was too slow to collect negative emotions, so he sent his idea to 9 tails in Naruto. After all, the general perception in the ninja world is that Kurama is a demon fox and a combination of negative chakra, which can be described as bliss, the world of the box. In order to get 9 tails to Ghost Lamp City, Wu Wei had someone pretend to be Naruto to attack 4th Raikage Eye, and deliberately exposed his face to be seen by 4th Raikage Eye. 4th Raikage Eye was furious and sent the news to Konoha village, which made Tsunade order to hunt down Naruto and imprison him in the #1 prison in the ninja world, Ghost Lamp City. Female. Samui, is my Cloud Shinobi village so awesome? By Wooden Golem. Just kidding, we send a letter from 4th Raikage, and 5th Hokage immediately sends Naruto to Ghost Lamp City. Samui. Is such a thing possible? By Wooden Golem. It's not impossible, isn't Hyuga Hazashi just an example? Hinata. Let's talk, don't make fun of the elders of the deceased, okay? By Wooden Golem. Sorry, I should say this is a traditional virtue left by Sarutobi Hiruzen, mate. Samui. If you say that, according to the timeline, Uzumaki Naruto was already the hero of Konoha village at that time, and Tsunade sold so simply, wouldn't it be? Tsunade. It's all messed up. Tsunade. Although I know you guys are joking, I don't think it's outrageous. Tsunade. It is absolutely impossible for me to betray my companions and follow the old path of Sarutobi Hiruzen, so there is only one truth. Shizune. Just plan. Azuki Shien. It seems that both Cloud Shinobi Village and Konoha have known Wu Wei's plan for a long time, and it is logical that Naruto made things in the past. Anko. I am impatient and have already finished reading the diary, so I would like to advise you, it is better not to use your brains, otherwise. Anko's sudden speech stunned the girls, and they randomly accelerated their reading speed. Tsunade cooperates so well, of course it's not because of cowardice. Sarutobi Hiruzen's shameful diplomacy era is over. I feel that such cooperation is actually a trick. Wu Wei's plot in Ghost Lamp City has long been discovered by the people of Konoha and Cloud Shinobi. The two parties decided to join forces to deal with Wu Wei, but the problem lies in the will. Since you already know the information, Then Cloud Shinobi Village and Konoha will directly send some elite jonin to carry out joint missions. For example, wouldn't it be good if I take people to deal with Orochimaru? Effect. Yes, you can just push horizontally. Why do you have to? Just let it go. Okay. Let's say that Konoha had just encountered the extermination of the village at that time. The two of Cloud Shinobi Village were captured wooden golem. But Killer Bee was still there. But a perfect Jinchuriki, 100 Wu-Wei plus what bullhead and horseface, can it be resisted? Why send Naruto there? Or just ask Naruto to solve Wu-Wei? As a result, Kusakashi succeeded in summoning monsters from Nine Tails Chakra, and Naruto died several times. By the way, Naruto even killed Pain, isn't that outrageous? Female. Outrageous, off a big spectrum. But there are even more outrageous things. That's Kusanagi Village's blaming plan. Please forgive me for using mental retardation to describe it, its transformation. Become Naruto's shadow, but don't know Naruto's Rasengan, don't know Naruto's signature shadow clone, but use his own exclusive weapon chain to assassinate, and finally, before running away, he smiled and exposed his face, accidentally, saw by the fourth Raikage. Does this show that I am here to set the blame? Female. Tsunade. I somewhat understand why Yu Chen thinks that there is no box of bliss in this world, and the Ghost Lamp City will not happen, because it is really outrageous. Anko. A little bit of framing. It should be to deliberately use Rasengan and Shadow Clone to assassinate, to expose the characteristics of Gold's hair, which makes people doubt the final conviction of the investigation. Yuhi Hong. A slightly advanced frame-up should be done without the ninjutsu that Naruto is good at, but in the end he was accidentally discovered by his appearance. Azuki Shien. The most advanced method of blaming is to charge directly with enough strength, and then run away, leaving Naruto unable to argue. Kurama Yakumo. Obviously, Kusanagi Village wants to play the second and third, but the real effect is not even as good as the third. Samui. At least, I can conclude that someone is framing Naruto at the beginning, and then I suspect that someone designed Naruto, or wants to provoke the relationship between Cloud Shinobi Village and Konoha. I will never say that Master 4th Raikage let Tsunade sent someone out. Terumi Mei. Facts have proved that Yu Chen is right. Some people have no brains and don't talk about logic. All the girls sighed. But after seeing the content behind, they realized. Shock early. Kagaya. This level of brain damage has shocked the goddess Azuki for 1,000 years. In these days, even a fool like Naruto wouldn't foolishly show his face to assassinate, right? Wearing a mask to cover your face is expensive, or is the transformation technique unusable? It's ridiculous that Konoha didn't even give Naruto an alibi and an opportunity to explain, so he was directly convicted and sent to Ghost Lamp City. This is Konoha without its own prison to imprison the hero? Morino Ibiki of the torture section as a display? Konoha is an institution under the jurisdiction of Cloud Shinobi Village, and the punishment is not independent. This is because I am afraid that the delivery will be late, and Ghost Lantern City will not accept it. And such a loophole-ridden operation. Wu-Wei didn't even have doubts, but thought that his strategy was successfully executed. I really laughed at me, family members. Whether it is the framing of Sao Nin Village, or the generals of the two hidden villages, they are all mentally handicapped to the extreme, typical rookies pecking at each other, and the two groups of brain-dead are competing for resourcefulness, laughing to death. Tamari. Now I can understand Mr. Yu Chen's speechlessness. If the two leaders of ninja villages look like this ninja world would have belonged to our Sanagakure long ago. Black soil. I can't agree more. I'm not a very smart person, but I feel that the acting skills of the two groups are extremely poor. Terumi Mei. Is this the performance of Naruto by the two hidden villages and Wu-Wei? Sam Yi. I have a saying that I can't vomit. Tsunade. Speechless, really speechless. In Yu Chen's words, are we under the aura of collective wisdom reduction? Samui. The mentally handicapped framed, and the mentally handicapped will make do with it. It still looks like that, which fully reflects the IQ of the author. Shizune. No wonder Mr. Yu Chen thinks this will not happen, and such outrageous things will not happen in the real world. The girls felt the same way for Yu Chen, but obviously not enough, because they can't even see the general content. Speaking of transformation technique, I remember that Wu-Wei specially recruited a guy named Variety Huishan to impersonate Uzumaki Naruto to act in a play. Transformation technique is one of the 3 basic ninjutsu of ninjas. Except for Shaoli, even the children of ninja schools can perform it. That is to say, anyone can impersonate Naruto, and Naruto can pretend to be anyone. Cloud Shinobi Village and Konoha Village doesn't doubt it. I can't help but wonder why Wu Wei insisted on asking this ever-changing Huishan to pretend to be Naruto, and finally silenced him and let his trusted Kusanagi ninja do it. Anyway, it's just to show his face. Speaking of this ever-changing Huishan, I wanted to shout outrageous again. At the beginning, I forced my way into Cloud Shinobi Village and killed a few Jonin. I was able to avoid the detection of ninjas with this level of perception, and even almost brought down Raikage. The strength must not have a place in the cage level. But in the Ghost Lantern City, he was inexplicably killed by a bull-headed horseface, and then suddenly popped out at the end to fight 4 directions, and finally was killed by a hand knife. You say outrageous or not? Brainless or not? That must be outrageous, must be brain dead. If they don't agree, I'm afraid these words are used to describe them. Other speechless things, there are many, many more. For example, when Naruto first arrived in Ghost Lantern City, he collapsed after using Shadow Clone one by one. As a result, he used Shadow Clone continuously when he escaped from prison, and used shuriken chains as weapons. Is it possible to ignore it before going to jail? There is no logic at all. For example, Dragon Tongue possesses blood succession boundary dragon life reincarnation technique, which is known as a powerful ninjutsu known as a genius. Beer. There are many other things that are speechless, such as, for example, I will not give examples one by one. You have already told the whole story and complained about it, why don't you give examples one by one? You have to make it known to everyone to be serious about complaining? Finally and most importantly, the point that I want to complain about the most is that this inaction is definitely sick. In order to open the box of bliss, he accidentally killed his son, and the only wish to try to open the box of bliss is to resurrect his own son. Doesn't he take off his pants and fart? I don't want my son to die, so after the enlightenment came out, can't I just interrupt the ceremony? 4x, expletive. Just now they had an indescribably weird feeling, and now they know it. It turned out to be because of Wu Wei's stupid operation. Fragrant phosphorus. Lily Yuen on the spectrum. Quotes from Brother Yu Chen. Makoto. I thought Uchiha Fugaku and Uchiha Itachi were already brain dead, but I didn't expect there to be such a weird person as Wu Wei. Ju Xingna. What is this called? There are more brain dead than brain dead. Terumi Mei. Now, I can fully understand Mr. Yu Chen's mood. Tsunade. This blood prison is a farce from the beginning to the end. By Wooden Golem, indeed, this matter has been outrageous from the beginning to the end. Since Cloud Shinobi Village and Konoha Village have known the reason for a long time, it is not good to push it directly. Is it because 8 tails can't swing its tentacles, or is 9 tails not strong enough? Black Soil. It's fine if you don't push the game horizontally. Wu Wei's framing is so fake. It's also embarrassing for Tsunade-ji and 4th Raikage. Shizune. But this Wu Wei thinks his scheme has succeeded. Makoto. Don't tell me, his thought is correct, isn't 9 tails indeed swallowed part of chakra by the box of bliss, and release enlightenment? Azuki Shion. Indeed, not only did Satoru appear, Naruto also died several times. Conan. Let me tell you a joke, Pain solved Konoha alone, Naruto defeated Pain alone, and ended up going to the blood prison several times, and finally saved his life by relying on the Dragon Tongue. Yi Kang. You put it that way, I suddenly feel that this farce is just to make Dragon Tongue die? Zayuan. Refer to the final result. Wu Wei was released. Wu Wei died in battle and Wugo was not revived. Dragon Tongue died. 3 ninjas from Kusanagi village died from the beginning to the end, and the return of ultimate bliss was destroyed. Kyuko Nai. I understand. Everyone performed this show from beginning to end, just to destroy the box of bliss, and the 3 people from Kusanagi village are sacrifices. Samui. You people are really bad things. But I like it. By Wooden Golem. The long knife has been cut out, and the friendly army is buried generously. Hinata. So how much money did this Wu Wei bring into the group, so that so many people can cooperate with him in such a speechless script? Puff. All the girls couldn't help laughing. Hinata's words are unique, but easy to understand. That's the way it is, they just acted in a very badly scripted scene. Shaogang. What are you laughing at? Senju Tobarama looked at Tsunade suspiciously. In fact, Kukina, Makoto and Hakura also laughed. Because of this, he was so curious about why they could laugh so in sync. Is there anything he hasn't noticed? Second Grandpa, I just thought of something funny. Tsunade suppressed his smile. What's so funny? My husband gave birth. Senju Tobarama. Kakunai's son and daughter. You don't have to copy everything, something will happen. Speak up. Senju Tobarama said angrily. Cough. Tsunade was a little embarrassed. I am used to chatting in group chats, so I didn't talk properly for a while. But Senju Tobarama must not be told about the diary, and she can't tell about the bleeding prison. How can this be explained? Yes. Seeing the situation in the barrier, the corners of Tsunade's mouth twitched slightly, and he said with a light smile, "Grandpa, do you see that Uchiha Madara is miserable in the barrier?" Hearing this, Senju Tobarama immediately looked into the barrier. Under the attack of the prestige Susanoo, Uchiha Madara's complete body Susanoo has begun to shatter, and the degree of repair cannot catch up with the degree of damage. And that's what it should have meant. For comparison, Uchiha Madara has the power of Ultimate Yin escape under 6 paths, and Yuchen has the power of Ultimate Yang escape under 6 paths. Uchiha Madara has a box of bliss to replenish energy. Yuchen also has 9 tails chakra and sage mode, and even 9 tails and sage mode can be used in combination. On this basis, Yuchen also has the divine skill Sky Eye, among which there are 4 pupil skills of Mangekyo Sharingan, although it is not as good as Yin Dun Ultimate. But don't forget that Yuchen's glasses are beginning to transform into Tensigan King. Not to mention that there are Scorch Style, Light Escape and other special blood succession limit power. Overall, Yuchen's conditions completely crushed Uchiha Madara. To say that the only thing Yuchen can't compare to Madara may be the murderous aura and combat experience of the latter, who fought on the battlefield when he was a few years old during Sengoku's time. But now Uchiha Madara is controlled by Black Zetsu, and the Gowon account is operated by garbage, so it can't exert its original strength. One ebbs and another. Yuchen wins. Crack. After only 5 minutes of attacking direction, Uchiha Madara's complete body Susanoo was completely shattered under the attack of Tailed Beast Bomb blessed by a celestial being. The power in the box of bliss can't even keep up with the reaction. It's so powerful. Black Zetsu's face froze, and he didn't hesitate any longer, and put his hand on bliss. Come out, woo. Uchiha Madara can't, let it do it. If it can't do it by itself, it can only go first, and I will have a chance to rescue my mother. Roar. With a terrible roar, a strange creature appeared. Uchiha Madara's body becomes a part of this monster. Seeing this, Senju Hashirama air blasted directly. Bastard, how dare you prove that you hurt Madara? When I come in, I will beat you to death, everyone. It's actually not Uchiha Madara fighting me, but Satoru. It's rare that Black Zetsu can still have such a confident performance. Looking at the huge monster formed after devouring Uchiha Madara in front of him, Zhao Yuchen didn't have the slightest fear. This is a special monster born after the combination of negative energy in the bliss box. It is born with enlightenment, moves with enlightenment, and dies with enlightenment. The deadly monster is called enlightenment. If he remembers correctly, enlightenment did not exist before Wu Wei opened the box of bliss. Wu Wei's son Wu Hou was born after being devoured, and he has the ability to read people's hearts, and he can avoid all attacks in a few days. But it is said to read people's hearts, but it is actually reading the fear in people's hearts, and only then can Lacecloth have the ability to predict the future. But Zhao Yuchen has a diary, which can divert his thoughts and achieve a state of complete concentration and selflessness, and he is not afraid of being read. Meet death. Yuchen. The sound of thunder and explosion came from the mouth of the huge monster. The clouds were all moved, causing lightning and thunder, the earth shook, and mountain torrents erupted. Seeing this, Zhao Yuchen said with great interest, "To be honest, I don't even know what I'm afraid of. Black Zetsu, you have to behave well and let me know." In terms of desire, Zhao Yuchen naturally has a lot, more than building a big crystal palace. Tonkachun locks Chao deeply. No, he wants Crystal 4 Seasons to hold Kagaya. Being able to hold Kagaya in my arms means that all the women in the ninja world are there. But when it comes to fear, Zhao Chen feels like he hasn't lived for a long time. Roar. Wu roared angrily, and the sound wave spread. Yu Chen only felt that the surrounding environment had changed, and he was already on a huge stage, with lights shining, stars shining, and the atmosphere hot. However, there was boundless abuse from the side below, as well as various boos and booing sounds. He can see the ridicule and indifference of countless people. It's really a long-lost feeling. Zhao Yuchen closed his eyes and felt the atmosphere of the scene. In his previous life, he entered the entertainment circle with the intention of becoming a singer, but he debuted as an actor because of his good looks, but he still longed to be a singer, or to hold a concert. But the more top-notch and popular he is, the more he needs to be cautious in his words and deeds and maintain his personality, or to maintain his own commercial value. those business contracts tied to him make him not dare to be willful, nor can he be willful. In the words of the manager, it's the same when he sings well, his traffic can't be increased, but if there are any flaws, he will be criticized by some people, and even if he sings well, he will be accused of cutting leaks, resulting in discredited image. Stability was what he had to do at that time. So the concert I wanted in my heart has been put on hold. Do you think I don't hold a concert because I'm afraid of being ridiculed by the crowd? I just want to realize my childhood dream. It doesn't scare me. Zhao Yuchen's lips moved slightly, and his sneering voice resounded through the space. The picture was frozen in an instant, and then began to shatter, turning into a surprise of ruins. Konoha village was destroyed, his women died tragically on the ground, and the sky was round and high. Scared me with my women again? Zhao Yuchen shook his neck boredly. He did fear such a future, but he was so confident in himself that these things never occurred to him. No fun. 2 words of indifference came out. The illusion space is completely shattered, and the line of sight returns to reality. The gigantic Satoru attacked Yuchen in the form of a full-body Susanoo. Boom. 9 tails raised several tails to block Yu's fist. Then it picked up the knife in its left hand and slashed out with fierce airwaves. Shua. 9 tails attack fell through, and was overwhelmed by the dexterity of the language. Then 9 tails various attacks, including 2 different moves and even using the tailed beast bomb, failed to hit Wu. Hey, why are you like a loach, dare not confront the old man head on. Every attack was easily avoided as if it had been seen through in advance, and 9 tails was so angry that he cursed. It has never fought such an aggrieved battle, even if it fought Senju Hashirama with Senju Hashirama before, it still has to be able to fight, right? Die to the old man. 9 tails raised its 9 tails, and quickly condensed 5 small-tailed beast bombs. This is based on quantity rather than quality, and it can only be used in the case of Prestige Susanoo, because there is no need to consider defense. Boom. 9 small-tailed beast bombs flew out, forming a blockade on Jusai. But an astonishing scene happened. Jujube Wu seemed to have guessed that there would be such an attack a long time ago. He made an evasive movement early in the morning, and crossed Susan with his sword to form a shield. 6 of the 9-tailed beast bombs were dodged, and the other 3 were all defended, without any impact on Wu, who took advantage of the situation and stepped forward to attack 9 tails. 9 tails left and began to evade, but found that Satoru's attack on him was getting faster and faster, and it became more and more difficult for it to evade, becoming stretched. Even several times, before it even made an evasive movement, the giant Satoru had already assumed a passing posture, and he had to hang around to dodge Susan, only to face another wave of attacks head-on. It has no chance to fight back now, and it will definitely be beaten if it continues. This Black Zetsu seems to be able to see through Yuchen's thoughts. Outside the barrier, Senju Tobarama frowned and his expression became serious. Gang on the side heard the words, and said doubtfully, "Second Grandpa, you said that this big guy who devoured Uchiha Madara can see through Yuchen's thoughts." Yeah. Senju Tobarama nodded. Some attacks are beyond the scope of prediction, more like prediction. Yuchen is now in a bind, obviously because his ideas have been seen through. If nothing else happens, the box of bliss should have the ability to see through people's thoughts. It has to be said that Senju Tobarama definitely deserves the title of the best auxiliary military division on the battlefield. After just a short observation, he judged that some of the abilities that Wu possessed were only limited by intelligence and not very accurate. And Tsunade got a positive answer from Senju Tobarama, and couldn't help complaining. Is the ability to predict the future already rotten these days? What do you mean? Senju Tobarama wondered. You know a lot of people who have the ability to predict the future. It's quite a lot. Tsunade counted with his fingers. The stinky toad on Mount Myoboku. Senju Tobarama. Big smelly toad? It should be Great Toad Sage. Calling them that. Well done. Senju Tobarama couldn't agree more with Yuchen's sentence. If you are not of my race, your heart must be different. Not to mention race, he has this fear of people outside his family. The Uchiha family has the most, but as a movie queen, he calmly restrains this emotion. Great Toad Sage. Definitely not a good one. Zayuan used to have the ability to predict the future of the death of people around her. But now she has disappeared due to the awakening of the light escape blood inheritance boundary. But there may be more in the future, and if not, it can be passed on to the next witch. Tsunade added. Senju Tobarama nodded subconsciously. He naturally knew about the Miko. In the Otsutsuki family, Otsutsuki's white eyes are developed to the extent comparable to Mangekyo Sharingan. Some people awaken the pupil technique that can see through fate, and the future is naturally not a problem. Tsunade continued. The Otsutsuki clan, with white eyes, is comparable to Mangekyo Sharingan. Senju Tobarama raised an eyebrow. It was the first time he heard such remarks, but he felt that he was a minister of reason. According to his research, several of the ancestors of the Hyuga family had white eyes with special abilities. The Hyuga family believed that this was the awakening of white eyes. Now it seems that it is a degree of development, or an evolution like Mangekyo Sharingan. Sharingan can evolve, and white eyes can be normal. Then there is Uchiha Fugaku's Mangekyo Sharingan pupil technique, called Tianji Chongli, which can predict the future and even simulate the future with his own vision. In addition to the monsters that have escaped from this box of bliss. Isn't it a bad street? Tsunade shook his head emotionally. The children of Konan next to him nodded in agreement. Senju Tobarama saw their expressions, and suddenly asked, "Where did you get this information?" Huh. Tsunade was taken aback. Senju Tobarama looked at her seriously, and asked, "The fact that the white eyes can be developed to a level comparable to Mangekyo Sharingan. Someone in the Otsutsuki family has the ability to predict the future. And that magical box that Black Zetsu took out is called the Box of Elysium? Where did you get all this information, Tsunade?" Konan, Makoto, and Shing Suo couldn't help but tense their nerves. One didn't pay attention. How did he tell the information he learned from the diary? If this cannot be explained clearly and Senju Tobarama shows up in front of Yu Chen later, then. At this moment, Nagato, who was about to finish the barrier, also turned his head and asked doubtfully, "Could it be that brother-in-law told you?" "I'll ask next time. Dangerous, dangerous, dangerous." Tsunade. "Sisters, help, hurry, hurry, hurry. Terumi Mei. It can be seen that you are really anxious. There are all your sisters present. Where are the sisters?" Ju Zuna. "If you want to put it this way, it's not like I don't have a sister on a certain level, I'm still a big sister." Makoto. Seconded, this must be seconded. Hinata. "About this, I think it's better for Yu Chen big brother to decide for himself. We don't want to meddle indiscriminately. What does my sister say?" Smiling face. Anko. "Yu Chen has the final say at home, it's better for non-sisters not to think too much about it." Zayuan. "Actually, the doctor should be regarded as Master Tsunade's older sister, right?" Black Soil. "Is it more than 1,000 years older, or is it my sister?" Kagaya G. "The concubine is still the same sentence. After 10,000 years, looking back, age is not any problem." Tsunade. "No, this is very urgent. If you don't help me find a reason to make up for it, why don't you give me this? Although this mistake was made by her, it will affect all the women in the family. Can't they be more careful? Fragrant phosphorus. Anyway, I don't care." Karama Yakumo. "I don't care either. Z Yuan. It doesn't matter, if you know it, you know it." Otsutsuki Kagaya. "I don't think so either. Terumi Mei. It doesn't matter if you don't have a diary to stabilize a man's heart." Yi Kang. "I have always been indifferent, you understand." Nohara Lin. "I am a soft-spoken person, but personally, I don't worry about leaking, so don't worry, Master Tsunade." All the women came forward to express their comfort. For them, it doesn't matter whether Yu Chen knows they can see the diary. After more than a month of getting to know each other, they trust Yu Chen very much. This is a man who treats you well, and he must treat you well. As long as you are sure that your heart will not be let down, knowing other people's secrets is not important at all. If it weren't for all kinds of concerns, they might have already had a showdown. Samui. "We can see the diary, and we will reveal it sooner or later, but I think it is best not to be discovered, or to be exposed by Yu Chen. No matter what, we will wait for everyone to reach an agreement, and go to a showdown with Yu Chen, isn't it?" By Wooden Golem. "You talk a lot, you have the final say." Shang Lin. "Let's vote now. If you disagree, please speak up." Tsunade. "Let me state that I don't disagree, but can you help me deal with the second grandpa?" Before the enchantment, Senju Tobarama saw that Tsunade had not answered, so he asked again. "Why is this question difficult to answer?" "You can tell me the information, but not how you got it." In Senju Tobarama's view, the information revealed by Tsunade is more valuable. As for how she knew this information, it is actually easy to guess, and he just wanted to verify it. "Didn't Yu Chen tell you?" Senju Tobarama said directly. Tsunade. "It was indeed Yu Chen who told the story, but he didn't take the initiative to say this." Samui. The matter is very simple, just say what I told you, the news comes from Cloud Shinobi Village. Tsunade. Afterwards, what if the second grandfather asks someone from Cloud Shinobi Village for verification? Samui. With second Hokage's character, although he will be curious, he won't ask too much, because you are Hokage now, the person who needs to know the secret most in Konoha Village, and he just asked you just casually, it's just that your performance made him interested. Samui. Even if my analysis is wrong, Cloud Shinobi Village is my home field, and knowing everything in advance, I naturally have a way to deceive second Hokage. Black soil. When will I be able to say so many words? Tamari. It's so powerful, it's good to use your brain well, unlike me directing wind-style ninjutsu. Terumi Mei. That's right, I'm just an ordinary woman who has two kinds of blood succession boundaries. Female. You don't have to be so Versailles. Actually, it's not impossible to say, it's just that this matter involves some secrets. Tsunade restrained his expression, pretending to be hesitant according to Samuel's intention, and said, the news was actually told to me by the messenger from Cloud Shinobi Village, I didn't expect to see it by accident today. The messenger of Cloud Shinobi Village? Senju Tobarama asked curiously, how could she tell us this information? He has been in the village for a long time, he has found some old people from the past, and has learned about the current Konoha and ninja world from various channels. This understanding is also the reason why he did not hesitate to deal with Sarutobi Hiruzen and the Sarutobi family, and wanted to nail this villain to the pillar of shame forever, which really made him feel bad. At the same time, he is also very satisfied with Yuchen, because Konoha has developed in military, business, diplomacy, and internal politics after Yuchen became Hokage's assistant. This also made him more determined to turn Yuchen into his grandson-in-law, not to mention that Yuchen also proposed the concept of world government now. The Chunin exam will be a special node that brings the ninja world to change. At this time, the 4 great hidden villages are taking people to visit Konoha to take the Chunin exam together. Naturally, he has also learned about the 10 envoys. Samui of Cloud Shinobi Village is the right-hand man of 4th Raikage Eye. She is the #1 beauty of Cloud Shinobi Village, known for her calmness and wisdom in the ninja world. Why did she tell Konoha such secret-sounding news? I didn't want to talk about it when it comes to other people, but since it's the second grandpa asking, I can't hide it. Tsunade showed an embarrassed expression, and said, actually, Samuel fell in love with Mr. Yuchen at first sight. Senju Tobarama. Makoto and Kukina. The ladies in the live broadcast room. Samui. Samui. Gee Tsunade, I was helping you, but you ended up ruining my reputation, don't take such kindness and revenge. By Wooden Golem. No, 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 I just want to say well done. Ino. What happened? What happened? Hinata. Same curiosity. Anko. Chakra can't afford to be hurt. Karama Yakumo. Work hard, you won't lose traffic when you master Sage Mode, bah, it's not bad for chakra. Shanglin. Sister Yakumo is the one who knows how to speak like Yuchen big brother. Anko. This Sage Mode is very difficult to learn. I have the curse seal and can't learn it. Makoto. It just means that you and Mr. Yuchen still have less sex. Female. Ju Xingna. There are still minors in this group chat. Makoto. Ino, Shanglin, drives faster than us, these words are meaningless. Sam Yi. Why do you always go wrong? Shouldn't you help me condemn Tsunade now? Tsunade. I want to deepen my second grandfather's trust. Sam Yi. Saying that I fell in love with Mr. Yuchen at first sight, can it be useful? Samui said that I am not young, so don't try to lie to me. The dialogue between the two women also let some people who did not watch the live broadcast know the cause and effect. This is indeed suspected of repaying kindness with revenge. By Wooden Golem. But Tsunade is not a rumor. You may not have fallen in love at first sight, but now you are in love anyway. What is so hypocritical? And Mr. Yuchen also thinks that you fell in love with him at first sight. Samui. Wonderful, really wonderful. The girls had the urge to applaud. The children of Hinata even expressed regret that they didn't have enough chakra to watch the live broadcast. How fun. Shao Gang, I know Samui's status and identity. Senju Tobarama rubbed the center of his brows, with a little disbelief. You said that she fell in love with Yuchen at first sight, but I don't doubt it. His temperament and appearance make him really attractive. Opposite sex. But do you think it's reasonable to disclose information because of this? That's Raikage's right-hand man. How could he read the information of this village just because he likes an enemy village ninja? Terumi Mei. I always feel that he is connoting me. Tamari. The Greer ore became a little hot for a while. Black soil. I just want my grandfather to retire early, so that the ninja world can be peaceful earlier. Don't take me. By Wooden Golem. Boy, there's more than one traitor. The degree of closeness and trust that the girls have towards Yu Chen is a betrayal for their current position. But if you consider that their starting point for doing these things is also for the good of the village and their former companions, it doesn't count? After all, no one can defy the tide of history. Second Hokage, you can actually believe that. Just when Senju Tobarama felt that Tsunade had found an unreliable reason to prevaricate himself, Conan's cold voice came from beside him. Actually, so do I. Senju Tobarama, Uzumaki Nagato, Mountain? Senju Tobarama turned to look at Conan. I saw that her expression was very serious, and she didn't seem to be joking at all. Speaking of which, Conan is also a very tall and cold woman at first impression. As one of the 3 founders of the Akatsuki organization, her strength, status and wisdom go without saying. She is completely different from Samui except for her chest are of the same type. She personally said that she fell in love with Yu Chen at first sight, which can be said to be a strong proof. The times are different, generation gap? Senju Tobarama suddenly felt melancholy in his heart. Think of him as the master of forbidden technique, the god of sea escape, the patriarch of the Senju clan after Senju Hashirama, the second Hokage of Konoha. His appearance and image are also very outstanding, and he will be a bachelor until his death. As a result, Yu Chen can make so many excellent women voluntarily fall into his arms. Don't make the difference too obvious. Of course it's not the only reason why Samuel likes Mr. Yu Chen. Seeing Senju Tobarama's rare self-closing look, Tsunade suppressed a smile and added, Grandpa should have heard of Ghost Lamp City, which is a prison built by Konoha and Cloud Shinobi Village in the sea northeast of Kusanagi Village. It is specially used to imprison the most vicious ninjas. The current owner of Ghost Lamp City is Wu Wei, an elite Jonin from Kawen Village. A few years ago, he voluntarily requested to be the city king of Ghost Lamp City. An elite Jonin asked to go to the isolated island of Ghost Lamp City to be with all the criminals. We, Konoha and Cloud Shinobi Village, agreed on the surface, but secretly investigated whether he was plotting the truth. And things are as we guessed. Cloud Shinobi Village investigates Wu Wei in Ghost Lamp City. Tsunade narrated what he learned from the diary. Of course, some words have been modified, and the source of information has also been changed to Cloud Shinobi Village, which was brought to Konoha by Samui after it was discovered. After all, although not many people know about the Box of Elysium, its name is indeed not small. In addition, Wu Wei has his eyes on 9 Tails Jinchuriki, so he may not have his eye on 8 Tails Jinchuriki. There is not much benefit, and in the name of showing favor, you can test the depth of Konoha, and even weaken Konoha's power zone. Cloud Shinobi Village certainly does. It turns out that there is such a legendary in the Box of Elysium. I have never heard of it. After listening to Tsunade's explanation, Tobarama's expression became more serious. Sage of 6 Paths can't be destroyed but can only be sealed, a special tool that almost made Kusanagi Village rule the ninja world. No matter whether the legendary is moist or not, it cannot be underestimated. No wonder it can be manipulated to devour Uchiha Madara. Maybe Rinnegan is still there, he has the strength to resist it. Senju Tobarama muttered, and suddenly cast Flying Thunder God to Senju Hashirama's side. Brother, stop shouting, that thing is a bit weird, I may not be able to beat it, let Yu Chen come. Senju Tobarama grasped the essence of being a real Hokage at once, and let Hokage assist in the dirty work. Look at the situation inside. Is Yu Chen Madara's opponent? Senju Hashirama pointed to the situation inside the barrier, with a serious expression on his face. Yu Chen was completely suppressed and beaten. That's not Uchiha Madara, it's enlightenment. Senju Tobarama corrected Senju Hashirama habitually, and then said, don't forget, Yu Chen also has the ability to predict the future. Precognition versus precognition. Do you think he is really in danger? Regarding Yu Chen's performance as if he knew everything, Senju Tobarama interpreted it as that he could see the future. Yu Chen also admitted this in Konohahushan yesterday afternoon. Since he can see the future, would Yu Chen not know about the Box of Bliss? Would he not know about enlightenment? Surely there will be a way. You mean, Yu Chen is playing Madara? Senju Hashirama's eyes flashed. I've said it all, it's Satoru, you can call it Black Zetsu if you want, but it has nothing to do with Uchiha Madara. Nonsense, the full-body Susanoo is not the power of Madara. The manipulated Madara is also Madara. Senju Tobarama. Swish. Senju Tobarama, too lazy to argue with Senju Hashirama, came back to Tsunade and asked Uzumaki, "How long?" 1 minute. Uzumaki Nagato said seriously, "In another minute, the connection between the two barriers will be broken, and brother-in-law can come out of the barrier at any time. If we're going to go in, let first Hokage attack with the strongest attack and break through quickly." Uchiha Obito does not personally control the enchantment. The chakra of the wood-style avatar is limited after all. Once there is no natural chakra from the 5 elements enchantment to supplement and regenerate, the power of the enchantment will become weaker and weaker. Knowing that Yu Chen can leave the barrier at any time within 1 minute, Senju Tobarama couldn't help but feel relieved, and then asked Tsunade, "How do you know about the information about the Otsutsuki clan, the means that can predict the future, and the eyes of Uchiha Fugaku?" Tsunade. Effect. I was interrupted, but I still didn't forget to finish asking the question. I really have you, second Hokage. Uchiha Fugaku's eyes are the purpose I told 5th generation. Makoto took the initiative to stand up and take the blame. The matter about Otsutsuki, the method of predicting the future, that's what Yu Chen said. Tsunade said without changing his face. Yu Chen did tell Hinata in private that Baian can evolve, and also mentioned that Baian can have pupils like Mangekyo Sharingan. Besides, Yu Chen also told them about the Otsutsuki clan. Maybe not that detailed, but Senju Tobarama couldn't have asked Yu Chen every single word. This part is over. It really is Yu Chen. Senju Tobarama nodded slightly, with a smile on his face. I guess it's him. You can answer in 1 sentence, and I don't know what you are hiding. Tsunade. Black soil. If I understand correctly, as long as Tsunade tells second Hokage that her news comes from Mr. Yu Chen, he will not doubt it at all. Sam Yi. Didn't you misunderstand when you were so smart? Shizune. So why is Master Tsunade so nervous? Tsunade. Tsunade. In case the second grandpa leaked his words on Yu Chen's side, it would be a trouble for us. If we can avoid such a possibility, it is not wrong for us to come up with such a statement. Sam Yi. So I was avenged by you? I was killed by the Wind Review? Conan. So I took the initiative to take the blame for you? Makoto. So I took the initiative to take the blame for you? Tsunade. Cough. What we should pay attention to now, don't worry about why Yukong was suppressed and beaten. Tsunade, who couldn't figure out how to explain it, could only draw the girls' attention to Yu Chen. The girls are not stupid, they can see through Tsunade's thoughts at once, but they are willing to fall into the trap. They were indeed curious, how could Yu Chen be beaten by Wu because he knew so much about the box of Elysium? At this time, Uchiha Obito sensed the message from Rinnegan, knowing that the barrier will be disarmed in less than a minute, so he couldn't help but said to Black Zetsu, "Get rid of him quickly. If he can't do it in a minute, he can escape, and it may even be that we need to escape." There is no one present who does not know the perception technique, and the situation outside the barrier is not a secret. 1 more minute. When Black Zetsu heard Obito's words, he had no doubt about him. That being the case, he can only go all out. Full body Susanoo's speed increased again. 9 Tails was almost directly slashed by the tail, and finally had a side block, causing the armor to shatter. I can't stop it. 9 Tails was no longer holding on, and roared at Yu Chen. Hey, Yu Chen, I'm a little tired now, I'll take you instead. Hearing this, Yu Chen folded his hands on his chest, and said in a disgusted tone, "If you can't beat it, you can't beat it. If you ask someone for help, ask someone to help you. Whatever you say, I will do it for you." You think the old man is happy to come here? Kurama yelled over his shoulder. It was originally eating potato chips and watching dramas in Naruto's sealed space, but suddenly half of its body was summoned here. It's innocent all right. Then you don't play tricks on Uchiha Madara from now on. Shaking his head, Zhao Yu Chen fixed his eyes. Boom. The speed of the prestige Susanoo suddenly increased. Not only did easily dodge the attack of the full-body Susanoo, but he also made 2 cuts by the way. For him, Susanoo can play like a sword, isn't it a show? How can it be? The situation was suddenly reversed, and Black Zetsu was a little confused. Obviously, he could predict the opponent's thoughts before, and get out of the targeted attack in advance. Why did it suddenly disappear? Did Yu Chen overcome the fear? As if knowing that Black Zetsu would be puzzled, Zhao Yu Chen said directly when he acted. What you read is the fear in 9 Tails, not me. Just handed Susanoo over to 9 Tails, but now it's up to me. As the voice fell, 9 Tails chakra, Xianju chakra and light escape chakra appeared on the 10-fist sword in the hand of Weijuang Susanoo, and then they were created under Yu Chen's control. A crosscut appeared. The speed and range were so fast that Black Zetsu couldn't avoid it. Boom. The full-body Susanoo was crushed by one blow. Uchiha Obito, Senju Hashirama et al. So, is the empty front playing? Boom. Susanoo, the complete body of Uchiha Madara, was directly crushed. The power of light escape was injected into it, and Wu let out a miserable scream as if he had encountered a nemesis. Black's energy receded quickly, and all of them returned to the box of bliss. The different expressions on the four sides of the box all turned into expressions of fear at this moment, instead of joy, anger, sorrow and joy. How can it be? How can that be possible? Black Zetsu lay on the ground watching this scene, eyes filled with disbelief. Obviously he still had the advantage a second ago, and because of Uchiha Obito's reminder, he planned to crush Yu Chen. But in the next second, Yu Chen not only dodged his attack completely, but also came over to take him away in waves, suppressing even the box of bliss that Sage of Six Paths couldn't solve. How did he do it? Looking at your expression, it seems that you have a lot of questions you want to ask me. The prestige Susanoo disappeared, the figure of Kurama disappeared in a string of smoke, and the figure of Yu Chen appeared beside the box of bliss, exploring and studying with great interest. You. Why can you dodge my attack? Because I'm stronger than you, isn't the answer obvious? I mean, why do you make me not feel what you think? You said this, then how did you know my thoughts? Fear. You scare me? Black Zetsu. Obviously I was asking the question, but why did you keep praising and asking questions in the content of the dialogue? But Black Zetsu now also understands that the reason why he can predict the attack of the mighty outfit Susanoo just now is because he has fear in his heart, and he cannot escape the reading of the enlightenment. But this person in front of him, this guy named Yu Chen, he has no fear. Interesting, no matter how empty you are, I'll be studying you. Taking a good look at the box of bliss, Yu Chen casually threw it into the forbidden space, then turned his head and walked towards Black Zetsu. A stream of light flashed across the lines between his eyebrows. After confirming that this is not a doppelganger, but indeed the real Black Zetsu, a smile finally appeared on his face. Black Zetsu, call me Dad. Black Zetsu. Not far from Uchiha Obito. Is this some new form of taunting? Makoto and others who entered because Uchiha Obito suddenly withdrew the barrier. Ju Shingna. Oh my god, how could Yu Chen do this? Obviously she won't let me call him daddy. Black Soil. This is definitely a unique hobby. Sure enough, no one is perfect, and Yu Chen is no exception. Finally, let us find a shortcoming of him. By Wooden Golem. Weakness? Isn't fickleness a weakness? Conan. Of course not. If Yu Chen's fickleness is a shortcoming, wouldn't I end up alone? Ju Shingna. If Yu Chen doesn't bother me, wouldn't it be impossible for me to live another life and get a new life? Makoto. Uchiha Fugaku and Uchiha Itachi are so bad, I won't say more, I thank Mr. Dust. Kurama Yukumo. Husband. This is not a playboy, he just gives a home to beauties all over the world. By Wooden Golem. Then why don't you see him go to give Grandma Chio a home? Tamari. Hey, Grandma Chio was also a beauty when she was young, and her strength is still strong. Although she is ugly now, you can't insult her like this, not to mention Wuchen-kun. Yi Kang. If Yu Chen can attack Chio, I will be the first to disagree. This is an insult to us. Samui. By Wooden Golem, what is your situation? I always feel that there is a lot of rebellion in Wooden Golem's speech. What about me? Haven't been cheated by Matabi. Near Yu Chen's mansion, sitting on a page remote monitoring is also guarding Naruto by Wooden Golem scratching his hair angrily. Seeing Yu Chen's face through the video, she felt like all the cells in her body were jumping for joy, wishing to reveal this man's arms, and then let him do her best. I am a woman who does not want to be a pet cat, can you believe it? Isn't this inferior to those women? Kill. This man is poisonous, really poisonous. Wooden Golem held his chest and took deep breaths to calm himself down. She felt that she had to find someone to do it and find a way to solve this special situation. Originally, Samui was the best candidate, calm and smart enough, and had a diary like her. But this woman is now standing on Yu Chen's side, and she is fine even if she doesn't count, let alone help. Mabui. I can only ask her to help me. Determined by Wooden Golem. By Wooden Golem, nothing, all the girls are drunk and I am alone. Terumi Mei. See what you can, or use Yu Chen's words to speak. Black Soil. Let me see how long you can bear it. Yi Kang. Come on. Shanglin. I'm very confident in Yu-Chen big brother, and it's up to sister Wooden Golem. All the girls said that they just thought it was fun to see Wooden Golem clearly. To be honest, they didn't look down on Wooden Golem, they just believed in Yu-Chen's charm too much. Hinata. Isn't it about dad? What did Yu-Chen big brother do? Conan. Nothing, just step on Black Zetsu and let him call dad. Ino. Nohara Lin. Ah, this. Tien. What does it mean to be called dad by Black Zetsu? Hinata. You are. Hinata. Forgot who Black Zetsu's mother is? Hinata's words awakened the dreamer. Zhao Yu-Chen is not going to be Black Zetsu's father, he is going to be Kagaya-ji's man. No, if not pretending, Kagaya and Yu-Chen have already engaged in a relationship. Yu-Chen asked Black Zetsu to call him daddy, there's nothing wrong with that. Kagaya. Indeed, it can be called. In the initial ball space. Kagaya one heart became alive. It's not that Black Zetsu called Yu-Chen's father, she didn't make any waves. It just occurred to her suddenly that if Black Zetsu fell into Yu-Chen's hands, he would definitely be under his control. When Yu-Chen comes to her with Black Zetsu, will she have a chance to go out early after delivering everything she promised? Originally, before Yu-Chen awakened Tensigen, this was a matter of more than enough energy. To save her from the seal, one must revive 10 tails and become a Jinchuriki as a sacrifice, or have the strength to split the seals of Yuya and Hamura. But now that Yu-Chen is in charge of the Heavenly Imperial Center, and she has recovered a certain strength, it is really possible to do it together. At that time, she can break free from prison and regain her freedom. If you can find the Otsutsuki formula, devour it. Not to mention that the strength can be recovered quickly, and some gods can be mastered meters. Kagaya. If Black Zetsu dares not to bark, the concubine will teach him a lesson afterwards. And you haven't gotten along with Black Zetsu, who claims to be the son of Yugo Uzuki and the embodiment of will to call it mere human, that shameful name. Impossible, absolutely impossible, ridiculous. Black Zetsu was taken aback for a moment, followed by his black face so gloomy that he could reveal who he was, and said without hiding his murderous intent, "Do you know who I am?" "I know. Isn't it just a group of Yin-Dun chakra aggregates thrown by Kagaya before being sealed by Hamura and Yuya, with a little willpower?" Zhao Yu-Chen said in a relaxed tone. Black Zetsu opened his mouth wide but didn't know what to say. Indeed, Chen knew his origin and purpose very well. "My dear son, you really have to be called daddy, otherwise you will have good fruit in the future." Yu-Chen shook his head lightly, then stretched out his finger to touch the center of Black Zetsu's forehead. Don't you think? Just when Black Zetsu thought that Yu-Chen wanted to control his own thoughts, or used illusion to trap himself and spout nonsense, a lot of information suddenly appeared in his mind. In addition, there is a chakra of Otsutsuki Kagaya. Taking all the information to play, Black became hurried to each other. It looked up at Yu-Chen, there was no more hostility in its eyes, only passion and surprise left. Dad. Uchiha Obito. Crazy, really crazy, there really is a problem with this ninja world. Tsunade et al. Kagaya Heim, you also said that you can't contact Black Zetsu. Yi Kang. Are you so hasty? Ju Xingna. The truth is a wave of insight. Fragrant phosphorus. This kind of performance, are you telling me that it is an old cunt who has lived for more than 1,000 years? Terumi Mei. Hey, to paraphrase Yu-Chen's words, it's really an old cow sitting on a blade, with her eyes open. Ino. Although I don't know what you were talking about, but brother Yu-Chen's words are clearly, cut your ass with a knife to open your eyes, and, the old cow is sitting on a bomb, and it exploded, Sister Ming, you are confusing. Terumi Mei. Ino, it's good if you can understand, beautiful girls don't need to talk too much. Ino. So what happened? Very abrupt change of subject. You are so good, this little sister. Terumi Mei let out a slightly nervous laugh. Conan. Nothing, that is, Yu-Chen asked Black Zetsu to call him dad, and the latter called him directly. Hinata. Huh. So straightforward. Tsunade. Yes, it makes people wonder whether Kagaya can contact Black Zetsu. Kagaya. If the concubine contacted Black Zetsu, she would have already broken free from the seal. I am not afraid to tell you that the concubine can be released by manipulating a huge Tensigen, and Black Zetsu can completely control Otsutsuki to control the Tensigen. Some doubts may be just a joke, but they may not have bad effects. Kagaya didn't want to take the blame for the will he created, and chose to tell the truth. Resurrection using a giant Tensigen. The hearts of the girls trembled. They never let down their vigilance against Kagaya-ji. After all, it is the alien race Otsutsuki who has a history of destroying human beings, and possesses such strength. If you really believe it just because you chatted a few words in the group, and you don't treat them coldly at ordinary times, then it's so unwarranted. Vigilant? All along, they thought that if Kagaya wanted to be resurrected, he had to collect the tailed beast and retrieve the ghetto statue, or ask Dust for help. Unexpectedly, there is a key to take her out of the cage on the moon, and Black Zetsu can control this key. It seems that it is far easier for her to come up with a seal than we imagined. But she dared to speak out so openly, she was not afraid of our targeting at all, and it made people believe that she had indeed changed her mind and was ready to choose Yu Chen. The girls secretly thought about it, but they didn't show it to the outside world. There are some things that can only be tacitly stated and must not be stated explicitly. Makoto. It's Kagaya-ji's will to be so straightforward. Kagaya. This old lady can't memorize it, okay? Black Zetsu is her backhand left before the seal, and the core of her will is her Tiondo. To accomplish this, Black Zetsu is willing to do anything. Kagaya. Although I don't know what Yu Chen told Black Zetsu, but as long as there is a 1 in 10,000 chance to save me, Black Zetsu will do it and carry out his will to save me. What's more, does Black Zetsu have any other choice now? Black Zetsu is now caught by Zhao Yu Chen, a bad one could be wiped out. Once he is obliterated, the chances of getting Kagaya out will be even slimmer. So even if he just wants to Black Zetsu will not do anything against Yu Chen. He's an old cunt, and he's lived long enough, but in order to save Kagaya, everything will be thrown away. You really are. I can only say that it is you. Tianyan saw Black Zetsu's expression in his eyes, and Dr. Yu Chen shook his head with a smile. He actually showed Black Zetsu the memories of his trip to the moon and his conversation with Kagayaheim. After all, whether it is to learn divine arts, to obtain Black Zetsu's secret accumulation over the years, or to obtain Ten Tails recognition as the master, it is still necessary to use it. He wants to be stable first, and then take Black Zetsu to the moon to meet Kagaya-ji, and everything will be decided by itself. I didn't expect him to be so straightforward. Calling him Dad was not ambiguous at all. Do you know where the passage to the moon is? Zhao Yu Chen asked, moving his foot away. Feeling the bondage on his body disappear, Black Zetsu's pure gold eyes flashed. In fact, he didn't know whether he should trust Yu Chen or not, but as the fish on the chopping board, he could only and must believe it. But Yu Chen's current actions made him really believe it. It's not just that Yigao is bold, but also has no hostility towards him. Dad. I'm sorry, I don't know how to get to the moon. Black Zetsu bowed his head respectfully. You don't know? Zhao Yu Chen snorted coldly, and said with his hands behind his back, you have been in the ninja world for thousands of years, how could you not find the way to the moon? For the sake of your father, I won't argue with you this time. Yu Chen raised his finger, and once again tapped Black Zetsu's eyebrows. In the next moment, Black Zetsu saw the whole process of Yu Chen finding the passage to the moon. Do you still want to pretend to me? Zhao Yu Chen asked in a flat tone. I'm sorry, father. Black Zetsu bowed his head completely. The location of the lunar passage revealed by Yu Chen is generally the same as what he knows. He didn't dare to go easily because he was afraid of being tricked by Otsutsuki Hamura and Yuya. Now that Zhao Yu Chen dares to tell him so openly, it is obvious that he is really one of his own. This time he was ecstatic. After fighting for a long time, I was desperate and calculated, but the enemy admiral turned out to be my lord. You said it earlier, I just lay down, but because of this, he trusted Yu Chen even more. This can be seen from the change in title. Father? Zhao Yu Chen's smile became playful. If I say, now I need you to give me all the intelligence, wealth, ninjutsu, etc. collected over the past 1,000 years, will you be willing? Kagaya may not need the wealth of this world, but some secrets, such as the box of bliss, such as the dragon veins under the charm and ancient Lulin, etc., Black Zetsu will definitely pay attention to and collect information. In order to create the Dawn organization, Black Zetsu, who controls everything behind the scenes, will definitely not forget to collect money, and when it is time to use it, he can directly cash in. Even Luo Sha knows about panning for gold. Black Zetsu owns 100,000 Grandmaster Mayfly Technique. White Zetsu probably knows the existence of countless gold mines in the ninja world, which is more exaggerated than a money printing machine. Black Zetsu, truly a treasure. Father, please read it by yourself. Except for the information related to Mother, I will not guard against other contents. Black Zetsu took the initiative to stick his head over. His essence is Kaguya's own will embodied by the power of 6 paths peak level Yin Dun. If he doesn't want to, Yu Chen can't even try to read his memory. In the words of Kagaya-ji, do you understand the difference between tempered film and plastic film? This behavior is very good. Zhao Yu Chen nodded in satisfaction, but he didn't really read Black Zetsu's memory. Instead he said, "These things, you'd better tell me after you see Kagaya, don't rush it for a while. But what I'm more curious about is how did you manage to control the box of Elysium?" As far as he knows, the box of bliss has never had thoughts. It is just a vessel that can absorb people's desires and fears, until it swallows Wugo and is tossed by Wu Wei in various ways, then weak thoughts are born. In the end, Nine Tails chakra was obtained, and enlightenment was successfully born. In order to control the box of Elysium, I have spent hundreds of years. Black Zetsu immediately said his operation. After listening, Yu Chen showed an expression of admiration. You are indeed a talent, and you can also come up with a strategy where water drips through stone and Li Daiteo stiffens. From this point of view, the birth of enlightenment in the box of ultimate bliss was not because Wugo was swallowed, but because of you. But that makes sense. The box of Elysium has devoured countless people in the past countless years. What's so special about Wugo that it can give birth to consciousness? Swap it for Black Zetsu whose essence is Kaguya's will, then it's fine. Yu Chen, don't worry about talent or not, whether it's reasonable or not. Just when Yu Chen wanted to ask something, Senju Hashirama came to him with Senju Tobarama in his arms, nervously said, "Look at Madara. Why is he still awake? Did he get killed by your son?" Zhao Yu Chen turned his head and glanced with his sky eyes, the corners of his eyes twitched, and Tensegen's evolution was almost interrupted. Senju Hashirama is actually a princess hugged to Uchiha Madara, can you believe it? This picture is even more eye-catching than Kakashi collapsed after using Kamui for the first time, and being carried back to Konoha by Might Guy. The most important thing is the palpable concern, is it really just companions and comrades in arms? That means Uchiha Madara is in a coma right now, otherwise it would be, good guy. Madara is already awake, right? Could it be enjoying being held by Senju Hashirama? Hiss. Yu Chen was shocked inside. At this time, in Senju Hashirama's arms, Uchiha Madara sensed the situation of many chakra around him, wishing to die in place. It must be the wrong way for me to open it. Uchiha Madara resisted the urge to jump straight up. It's hard being held by Princess Senju Hashirama, but it's even harder being seen by everyone. He would rather pretend to be stupid and dead, and expose this matter as if nothing had happened. Brother, put Madara down quickly, don't be ashamed. When Uchiha Madara was playing in his heart, Senju Tobarama, who had been stalking Obito, cast Flying Thunder God and came to him with disgust in his eyes. Tobarama, the fields are beautiful. For the first time, Uchiha Madara felt that the executioner who killed her favorite brother was pleasing to the eye. He also hopes that Senju Hashirama can put him down so that he won't be so awkward when he wakes up. If Senju Hashirama is obedient, he will consider killing Senju Tobarama later to give him a good time. Tobarama, why am I ashamed? Senju Hashirama argued carelessly. Just hug Uchiha Madara, this is his love for his former comrades in arms. Senju Tobarama, with black hair, said coldly, the evil Uchiha Madara is already dead, why don't you let him die again? Uchiha Madara. Sure enough, he really couldn't like this Senju Tobarama. Uchiha who is hateful every day, Uchiha who is evil, Uchiha who must be controlled. Really want to kill him. A smile appeared on the corner of Zhao Yu Chen's mouth, and his eyelids moved slightly under the white cloth. It's really a little stressful to hold back a smile on such an occasion. Tobarama. Hearing Senju Tobarama's words, Senju Hashirama was a little angry and said, don't always be prejudiced against Madara, he is a comrade in arms who once created Konoha with us. Didn't your comrade in arms be killed by you? Senju Tobarama retorted. Uchiha Madara almost jumped up to applaud. It's not once or twice that he wants to hate Senju Hashirama. He shouted at his companion, but stabbed him in the back. He presupposed that he would die, but he never thought it would be this way of death. At that time, he almost couldn't hold back and used Izanagi directly, and then dealt with Senju Hashirama himself. But he thought that after killing Senju Hashirama, he would be killed by Senju Tobarama with the people ambushing around, and the most important thing was that Project Tsuki no Mi could not be launched, so he held back. But he has always been brooding. Say what? Senju Hashirama glared at Senju Tobarama. Killing Uchiha Madara behind his back is also a knot in his heart. Back then he said it was for Konoha, but in fact, as Uchiha Madara said, he wrote the card before the horse in the future. After the death of Uchiha Madara, he had a heart disease in his heart, which is also the reason why he died of illness soon after the first Generation 5 Cages battle. Seeing Senju Hashirama showing a serious expression, Senju Tobarama realized that he had said the wrong thing. Pulling his mouth, he bit the bullet and said, I mean Madara has rebelled, and he also personally directed the tragedy of Uchiha Obito to bring a lot of bitter hatred to this ninja spring. Didn't you say that the deceased shouldn't interfere in the affairs of this world, so why don't you just get rid of him here? This time we destroyed a little bit more, to the state where impure world reincarnation can't be summoned. W. Uchiha Madara. As expected of the year, the ruthless Senju Tobarama actually wanted to beat him to ashes. In his heart, he was ready to violently resist. Social death is always like life and death, and he also wants to know what happened to Black Zetsu, as his will, why he betrayed him. Just now it was very humiliating to call Yuchen this junior father, which is simply ridiculous. This. Senju Hashirama froze, not knowing how to refute Senju Tobarama. It was indeed what he said, and he also thought so from the bottom of his heart at the time, the absolute Pure Land is the best destination. But after Konoha played again for a few days and learned a lot from Yuchen, he also began to miss it. Pure Land? Only fools go back. I think young people still need the support of old people sometimes. Senju Hashirama scratched his cheek with his index finger, and said with a little embarrassment, and Yuchen must resurrect me to deal with Otsutsuki. I can't just stand by, can't I? Shao Gang gets married in the future, I have to be there to see. And my grandson Nawaki, whom I haven't met, I can't support him. Senju Hashirama said a lot of reasons, in the final analysis, there is only one meaning. He wants to be resurrected. You can be resurrected. What does it have to do with letting Uchiha Madara die? Senju Tobarama said blankly, obviously pretending to understand. Tobarama, don't be so rigid. Senju Hashirama said with a straight face. If Madara is not resurrected, let him stay in the Pure Land, but he has already been resurrected. As comrades in arms and companions, we cannot kill him. He was tricked by Black Zetsu, and we're going to give him a reformed hero. And against Otsutsuki in the future, Madara with Rinnegan is also a very strong combat power, isn't it? Hearing these words, Senju Tobarama's eyes twitched. It's really hard for Senju Hashirama to find so many reasons to persuade him. When Uchiha Madara heard these words, his heart was touched, thinking that the Hassie Hot Mom is still the Hassie Hot Mom. But what he cares more about now is Otsutsuki, the fact that Black Zetsu is using him. What is hidden behind this? I can't tell you, you can do whatever you want. Senju Tobarama eventually compromised. Senju Hashirama immediately looked at Yuchen and said, Yuchen Shaoji, save me. Speaking of saving lives, isn't Master Hashirama your strong point? Yuchen raised his eyebrows, but didn't act. I saved it, but Madara's heartbeat has not recovered. I wonder if it was Black Zetsu's fault. Are you injured him with the last blow? Senju Hashirama explained. Is that so? Zhao Yuchen nodded, and said with a tangled face, in this case, he should be exhausted and enter a state of suspended animation, and he may die at any time. It is not impossible to save him, but unfortunately there is only one person in this world can do. Hearing these words, Uchiha Madara sneered inwardly. This Yuchen's strength is really good, worthy of the fear of Black Zetsu. But his eyesight was so bad that he didn't realize that he was in a state of suspended animation. Who can do it? Senju Hashirama asked nervously. You. Me. Senju Hashirama pointed to himself suspiciously. The others immediately cast curious glances. Senju Hashirama said that he could not save Senju Hashirama. Why did Yuchen still say it was him? N. Zhao Yuchen nodded, and asked back, Master Hashirama, what is the relationship between you and Uchiha Madara, do you still remember? Remember. Senju Hashirama nodded. We are the reincarnation of Sage of Six Paths, I am the big brother, Madara is the younger brother. Everyone. Zhao Yuchen was speechless for a while. Obviously, Senju Hashirama is deliberately backwards. Hashia and I were actually brothers in the previous life, and they were the sons of Sage of Six Paths. Uchiha Madara was shocked in his heart, but he didn't doubt it. Uchiha and Senju, two clans who are so at odds, he and Senju Hashirama Senju are brothers. He was not surprised at all. Because of the combination of Senju and Uchiha, you can get the omnipotent power, that is, Rinnegan. And Rinnegan, also known as the Fairy Eye, is only owned by Sage of Six Paths in Legendary. In this way, he and Hashirama's sense of fate after meeting for the first time, as well as the height the two have grown to, and the Rinnegan can be opened after the combination of strengths, etc., can all be explained. But, he is Senju Hashirama's younger brother? Damn. Why isn't he bright? In this life, his birthday is only 1 day shorter than Senju Hashirama's, so this guy has always regarded himself as a big brother. Is this also fate? As long as you remember. Yu Chen didn't bother to correct, and said bluntly, you two have 6 paths level yin and yang powers in your souls, which belong to Indra and Ashura. As long as you use the yang force to induce the yin force in Uchiha Madara's body, he can be awakened. Hearing this, Senju Hashirama immediately smiled and said, what should I do? This. Zhao Yuchen showed a troubled expression. But it doesn't matter, Senju Hashirama urged. Since Mr. Hashirama, you can't awaken Madara with medical ninjutsu, it means that the level of power is not enough, and Mr. Hashirama, you have not mastered the power of 6 paths level, so wake up if you want. Senju Hashirama listened intently. Uchiha Madara sneered in her heart. Everyone became curious, even Uchiha Obito didn't forget to eat melons, his face was very calm. Kiss him. Senju Hashirama, Uchiha Madara. Everyone. Madara, forgive me, I'm here to save you. Senju Hashirama looked down at Uchiha Madara in his arms, and stuck his Adam's apple down. He doesn't care about his brothers in his previous life and his close comrades in arms now. What's more, he even has a granddaughter, I believe Uzumaki Mito will not mind. Hiss. Seeing this scene, everyone couldn't help but widen their eyes. Even Senju Tobarama subconsciously held his breath at this time. And a group of women, with a bit of rotten female characteristics, are all very excited. Conan. This. The eyes are not clean. Makoto. You can choose not to watch it, but I have prepared screenshots. Ju Zuna. Together, a few photos from different angles. Yi Kang. Oh my god, Ninja Shura and the God of Ninja are really fun. Shanglin. Is this something I, a minor, can watch? Tsunade. Grandpa's love for Uchiha Madara, I would really cry. Terumi Mei. Hakura, please point the camera. Yumi. I swear, I'm not curious at all, you guys want me to see it. Z Yuan. Then this will test us newcomers. Kagaya. For a while, Jongan Kezong spoke excitedly. And what they said successfully attracted the attention of Hinata, Tianshin, Ino, Anko and other women who quit the live broadcast room because of their low chakra, and couldn't resist clicking into the live broadcast again. One look, that is the picture of Senju Hashirama about to kiss Senju Hashirama. I really think there is a problem, but I really want to see it. Telling this matter, can't people cry to death? This is fate. Yu Chen thought expectantly. Boom. When Senju Hashirama's mouth was still a centimeter away from Uchiha Madara, a huge blue chakra arm suddenly protruded from the latter's body, grabbed the former, and then squeezed it hard. Then Uchiha Madara used the body flicker technique to retreat more than 10 meters back, and Senju Hashirama opened the distance. With whom? Hey, our eyes are wide open, show us this. Tien. That's it. Ino, waste my chakra. Hinata. Seconded. Anko, how much is it consuming me with Michijin Naoma? Azuki Shien. I am different from you, I guessed it would be like this. Yu Rihong. I'm opposite you, I know how big your eyes are, so pretend here? Black Soil. Unfortunately, I thought I could witness the birth of a famous scene. Kagaya. Boy. Uchiha Madara turned to look at Yu Chen with cold eyes and said, you deliberately tricked Hashirama into playing, you already knew I was awake. As soon as this remark came out, everyone looked at Yu Chen one after another. I saw regret on his face, but there was no surprise. Apparently, Yu Chen was really deceiving Senju Hashirama on purpose. It's a pity. Zhao Yu Chen smiled and said, I thought I could witness the first time of the Ninja Dance King. Ninja Dance King? Uchiha Madara raised an eyebrow. He could hear that Yu Chen was referring to him, but he couldn't remember when he had such a nickname. He likes people to call him Ninja Shura, which can represent his strength and haki. Isn't it? Yu Chen smiled and said, I remember you asked others if you understand. Do you want to dance too? Right? Uchiha Madara. He really likes to say this sentence, but it doesn't mean he likes to be called the king of dancing. Dislike. Seeing Uchiha Madara's expression, Yu Chen asked again. Then why not call it Battlefield Rose, what do you think? Uchiha Madara's murderous intent rose. If it wasn't for being afraid of Yu Chen, he would have killed him. Black Zetsu controls what he does, he is not aware of it, but now he knows it. He knew very well that if he didn't have Rinnegan, he couldn't be Yu Chen's opponent. This is a junior who has surpassed him in Senju Hashirama. But doing nothing, always feel cowardly. Spicy Madara. At this time, Senju Hashirama recondensed his dirty body, and the cheers relieved Uchiha Madara's urgent need. Hashia, you idiot. Uchiha Madara cursed. Madara, I just want to save you. Senju Hashirama scratched his head foolishly. Hashi Hotmom, do I need your help? Uchiha Madara sneered and said, I have mastered the power of everything to open the wheel. As soon as Uchiha Madara pointed to his eyes, he was about to open the Rinnegan. He could do it in his impure world reincarnation state, and believe he can do it now. But as soon as chakra was injected, he only felt that his vision began to disappear, and then his eyes turned into powder, and the eternal Mangekyo disappeared directly, turning into empty and dark eye sockets. This caused him to get stuck when he spoke in general. Seeing this scene, Black Zetsu took the initiative to say, Madara, you just had the eternal Mangekyo Sharingan because of the energy in the box of Elysium. Once there is no support for this energy, because your eyes have transformed into a 6 paths level Rinnegan, and it still exists in the world, it cannot be realized. If a power like Rinnegan is dug up and given to others, and he can continue to have it again through the impure world reincarnation resurrection, wouldn't it be possible to extract it infinitely? At that time, it is not a dream to have a pair of Rinnegans in each hand. Wouldn't it be the era of per capita Rinnegans? This is obviously unreasonable. As for the ability to have impure world reincarnation, it is entirely because of some bugs in this ninjutsu, which embodies all the power in front of the dead, and can also specialize the ability according to the different sacrifices. Black Zetsu. Hearing Black Zetsu's words, Uchiha Madara didn't panic at all, closed his eyes and said coldly, Who are you? Madara, you are too arrogant, so it is easy to deceive, just like Indra back then. Black Zetsu sneered. But after noticing Yu Chen's gaze, he immediately restrained himself and shut his mouth obediently. Yu Chen is present, how can he speak for Black Zetsu? But he didn't speak, and naturally someone enthusiastically explained to Uchiha Madara. Madara, you've been tricked. Senju Hashirama approached Uchiha Madara, grinning and said, The steel of your Uchiha clan was reformed by Black Zetsu, who was the will of Otsutsuki Kagaya. You haven't heard of Otsutsuki Kagaya, right? It comes from other planets in the universe, which is a wider world. The Sage of Six Paths Otsutsuki Yuya in Legendary, and the younger brother of Sage of Six Paths, Otsutsuki Hamura, the ancestor of the Hyuga clan, was created by Kagaya with the power of 10 tails and the blessing of humanity. After becoming 10 tails Jinchuriki, you can indeed activate infinite Tsukuyomi, but that's just turning people into white Zetsu, yes. Senju Hashirama is like pouring beans. Barabara tells the information he knows, and doesn't hide anything from Uchiha Madara. In this regard, everyone thought it was funny, but they didn't make a sound to stop it. Because apart from Uchiha Madara, this is a known sin. As for Uchiha Madara, as Senju Hashirama said, he will be a good opponent against the Otsutsuki clan in the future, so it may not necessarily be eliminated. Let him know some truth, naturally no problem. After patiently listening to Senju Hashirama's explanation, Uchiha Madara's face was gloomy and terrifying. He turned his head to Black Zetsu and said coldly, So, you were not created by me, but led me to open Rinnegan, and then Geto statue and summoning later appeared together, masquerading as will. Your purpose is to make me a 10 tails Jinchuriki, a carrier for Otsutsuki Kagaya to escape from the seal and directly regain most of her strength. Project Tsuki no Mi, can't bring peace to the ninja world. That's right. Black Zetsu nodded in the affirmative. Okay. Very good. Uchiha Madara clenched his fists and said coldly, I didn't expect me to have so many layouts, it's just a joke. Black Zetsu, I will never let you go. Hearing this, Black Zetsu seemed indifferent, and said indifferently, My Lord Father and Lord Mother will protect me, if you have the guts to attack me. Yu Chen. This guy's ability to pretend to be a tiger is very strong. Spicy Madara. Seeing what Uchiha Madara had to say, Senju Hashirama immediately stepped forward and put his hand around his neck. Let him continue talking, if he offends Yu Chen, he will really die. Seeing this, Zhao Yu Chen didn't say anything, and turned to face Uchiha Obito not far away. After watching the play, you also know the truth. So, aren't you ready to leave? Leave. Hearing Zhao Yu Chen's words, everyone at the scene couldn't help feeling puzzled. With Uchiha Madara's character, proud and arrogant character, after knowing the truth about Project Tsuki no Mi, Even if he knows that becoming 10 tails Jinchuriki can become stronger, he will never do it. But Uchiha Obito is different. He just wants to become 10 tails Jinchuriki now, and after gaining power, he can change the world in the way he wants. And he snatched Uzumaki Nagato, which can also be said to be Uchiha Madara's Rinnegan. In the future, he will snatch the 9-tailed beasts to resurrect 10 tails, which must be the biggest hidden danger for this sister Wei. Why didn't Yu Chen keep him? Not strong enough. Stop joking. Shua. Senju Tobarama thought of something, and immediately cast Flying Thunder God technique to the closest position to Uchiha Obito, and at the same time threw a handful of kunai. But when kunai got close to Uchiha Obito, Senju Tobarama teleported to his side and cast Rasengan at the same time. For Senju Tobarama, a move like Rasengan can be learned at a glance. Refer to the tailed beast bomb skills, in his opinion, it is very meaningful to master. And, shoo. Obviously, Senju Tobarama hit a blank. Uchiha Obito's body hollow has already moved into the Kamui space. Seeing this, the corners of Senju Tobarama's mouth turned up slightly, and his eyes glanced at Zhao Yuchen. As expected of the best support on the battlefield, Zhao Yuchen secretly praised in his heart. Senju Tobarama is obviously going to cooperate with him and use it against King Uchiha. It's a pity that this second generation suffers from a lack of information, and even if he doesn't know that entering the Kamui space, he can't solve the opponent. It may even be controlled by the game that the opponent has set up long ago. Master second generation, don't waste your brains. Zhao Yuchen said, I can't keep him today. Hearing this, Senju Tobarama cast Flying Thunder God and came to Yuchen, wondering. I haven't tried it yet, why make such an assertion? I've already sent Shadow Clone to the Kamui space, but I can't even deliver information back. Yuchen explained. It's not that he looks down on Senju Tobarama, but the fact is that he is now the strongest player on the field. But even his Shadow Clone did not move after entering the Kamui space. Obviously, Uchiha Obito responded in advance after seeing the future with Uchiha Fugaku's eyes. This kind of response is absolutely impossible for Kamui only. No, the world. You can stay Uchiha Obito. Senju Tobarama wanted to say something else, but Black Zetsu's voice suddenly rang in everyone's ears. It wasn't until then that everyone realized that he had left Yuchen at some point, and quietly came behind Uchiha Obito, grabbing the latter's ankle with 10 hands. Black spread over Uchiha Obito, quickly taking over half his body, holding him in place. Absolutely, there was a cold look in Obito's eyes. Obito, your body has been taken over. Black said coldly, it's useless to resist. His control over Obito is not the same as his control over Nagato. The latter is with the help of the power of the spell buried in advance, and the former is his own shot. Kaguya's will, not Uchiha's Belt King, can resist. Fragrant phosphorus, unexpectedly, this dark guy can still come in handy. Anko. This wave is called Unexpected Joy. By Wooden Golem. I was so lucky, I thought Uchiha could slip away. Makoto. Black Zetsu's contribution should have nothing to do with Kagaya-ji, right? Kusakina. Of course not. Kagaya himself said that Black Zetsu has nothing to do with Kagaya-ji. Kagaya. Seeing this message, the girls couldn't help but smile. Daily teasing and teasing Kagaya-ji has almost become a compulsory course for them. But the next moment, their expressions became dry and subtle. Black soil. Black Zetsu will help, it must be something that brother Yuchen has not considered. Terumi Mei. When you say that, I suddenly feel that things are not that simple. Tsunade. Cheer up at the scene. Conan. Understood. Black soil. Kagaya. Yuchen's understanding of Black Zetsu may be higher than mine. Could he not have thought that Black Zetsu can control Uchiha Obito? Black soil. Ah, so why did Mr. Yuchen still say that Obito can leave? Makoto. Maybe there is news that we don't know, but it is also possible that Yuchen didn't expect Black Zetsu to help. After all, the latter hasn't seen Kagaya to confirm the situation. All the women agreed with this guess. Nohara Lin, everyone, what do you think of me going to the scene now? Samuais, very much, yes. Shizune. That's right, Mr. Yuchen said that Obito was blackened because of Nohara Lin, so if Lin persuaded him, he should reign in the precipice. Kushina. Although he has done many wrong things, but like Uchiha Itachi, he can use his own life to make up for it by performing the Rinne Tensai technique. Terumi Mei. Kirigakure watch is a great thing, Miss Lin, please go there. With the appearance of Nohara Lin, The girls discovered that there is another best solution, which can even be done without bloodshed. If Yu Chen really calculates that Black Zetsu can't keep Obito under control, then Nohara Lin can become a reference item. Then I'm going. Saying hello to Xianglin and the girls, Rin Nohara cast the spirit technique, and the spirit body flew towards Yu Chen's direction, like a streamer. At this time, in the Shichu space, Kagaya-ji stared and said, using Nohara Lin to persuade Obito, would Yu Chen not think of it? There is something strange about this matter. At this time, the Valley of the End is located. Uzumaki Nagato saw Obito being controlled, and immediately thought of his own experience, and said, you also left behind in Uchiha Obito? I always follow Madara's orders. Black Zetsu grinned strangely. Not far away, Uchiha Madara heard this, and said with a blank face, after being stabbed in the back by Hashirama, I no longer trust anyone. Obito and Nagato are just my attacks. Isn't it normal to use some means to control them? Senju Hashirama rubbed his hands, and said embarrassedly, Madara, I admit that I was wrong at the beginning, but you were deceived by Black Zetsu first, I think let it go. Oh. Uchiha Madara sneered. You stabbed me in the back, in the back. The battle of life and death, is it understandable? When you kill, you kill. Why are you behind your back? We are ninjas, we will use any means to complete the task, please don't be so pedantic, as a companion, I will not stab you in the back. It's not the same. Others don't know how much I hate people behind me, but you know it well, and you are the only person I entrust behind my back. I am completely defenseless against you, and you actually use this Kadzes. Spicy Mada. What's your ghost name? Listen to your call, and respond to you. Uchiha Madara. Forget it, this guy really hasn't changed at all, but his strength is still stronger. What do you think he can do? However, you will suffer retribution soon. When I got the news, I laughed happily. Uchiha Madara raised her head and smiled. Senju Hashirama pulled his mouth suddenly, and said angrily, it's not that you betrayed the village. We had no pressure at all when we played 1 against 2, but it turned out to be 1 against 4. I could only win miserably. Blame me. Uchiha Madara snorted coldly, and said angrily, Hashi Hotmom, I told you a long time ago, don't think about business existence for the time being, don't pay attention to the voice of the nobles for the time being, while we are still the strongest, take the 8-tailed beasts first, destroy Sanagakure and snatch Shukakure, and then take down the entire ninja world in one go. At that time, the entire ninja world will only have one country, only one voice, and only one hidden village, with 9 tails telling the truth, and conflicts will be small internal conflicts. There will never be wars like when we were young, and many deaths will not happen. People. As for those old bald donkeys in the temple, if you dare to say it, if it's not convenient for you to take action, I can. As for Senju Hashirama's end, Uchiha Madara said just 4 words. It's your fault. Originally, they wanted to build a hidden village just to end the troubled times. The result is that from a battle between hundreds of ninja clans and dozens of small countries, Bo has become a battle between the 5 major countries and the 5 hidden villages, as well as the small country and small hidden villages. Isn't this going to be normal? As long as there is no unification, the war will continue, for example. Don't make that look on me. Seeing Senju Hashirama's depressed look, Uchiha Madara was even more upset, and said, I think it's the wind that Mito's stinky daughter gave you, which made you soft. If I knew this earlier, I shouldn't have let her go on that isolated island. Senju Hashirama. Senju Tobarama. Everyone. This is a shocking melon. Do Uchiha Madara and Uzumaki Mito have a past? Could it be that the confrontation between comrades in arms is actually jealousy? Behind the farewell between God of Ninja World and Shira of Ninja World, there is a figure of a woman? Yi Kang. The isolated island. Let it go. I found that I was not serious. Conan. You are not alone. Yi Kang. Why are you scolding people? Makoto. Don't care about these details, you are now in the state of impure world reincarnation, and you are indeed not one. Ju Xingna. Yu Chen's homophonic stock is understood by you. Terumi Mei. I just want to ask now, can this be listened to without paying? By Wooden Golem. I didn't expect that there is such an ethical drama in Sleepy Leaf. Zi Yuan. I am still underage, why do you let me listen to this? Shang Lin. On the contrary, I think it is very interesting. This is a matter between First Hokage, Mrs. First Hokage, and Ninja Shira. Hinata, Ino, Everyday, Azuki Shien, Anko, Yuhihong, Tamari, Black Soil. Can you please stop bullying us, Chakra? There is no way to watch the scene through the live broadcast. I'm just curious, but don't give an answer, it's hard. Ino. Please tell me what's going on before chatting, please. Fragrant Phosphorus. I told you to come to my place a long time ago, we can watch it together. Hinata. Come. Fragrant Phosphorus. Really? Hinata. I'm looking for Shion. Terumi Mei. The thing is probably. Black soil, is explosive and exciting. My grandpa would definitely like to hear about it. Not only your grandpa, everyone likes to hear it. Madara. What did you just say? After a brief astonishment, Senju Hashirama said with a livid face. What happened to you and Mito on the isolated island? Yes. Uchiha Madara nodded generously, and said with a look of reminiscence on her face. Even we have to admit that Mito is indeed a powerful and outstanding woman, and she can persist in fighting me for so long. Everyone. It's over, they still have problems in their minds, so what's the matter with their bad intentions no matter how they hear it? How long has Mito been fighting for you? It's been a long time. She is the first and currently the only woman who brings me pressure. Uchiha Madara said seriously. Although Izuna was not dead at that time, I just started Mangekyo Sharingan, which is much worse than now. Of course, she certainly isn't. But when I tried my best, she still couldn't bear it. If I hadn't stopped at the last moment, I might have killed a person, and I wouldn't be able to insist on you. Senju Hashirama. Senju Tobarama. Yu Chen's expression was quite exciting. It can be seen that Uchiha Madara is just saying a very serious thing. But what does not stop, brings pressure, can't bear it, almost killed people, makes people think about it. If he didn't know Uchiha Madara's arrogant personality, he would have suspected that the other party had a black belly and a Senju Hashirama mentality, and said these words on purpose. You're talking about the time I took someone to the country of the vortex to propose a marriage? Senju Hashirama asked, suppressing the discomfort in his heart. Yes. Uchiha Madara nodded. When Shiyu Zebo and Senju were at their most hostile, and the Uzumaki clan was the largest family of in-laws of your Senju clan, if you were going to marry the princess of the country of vortex, our Uchiha clan would naturally have to do without reaction. I went to the country of Uzumaki by myself, and I lured Uzumaki Mito out in your image, in order to kill her and destroy your relationship. It's a pity that Mito is not an easy woman. Grandmaster's various sealing techniques, 100 healings marks blessings of various ninjutsu, it's just as good as mine. His strength attracted my respect, and you had already arrived at that time, so I didn't do this. Speaking of this, Uchiha Madara asked unexpectedly. Didn't Mito tell you about this? No, Senju Hashirama shook his head while letting out a sigh of relief. It's good that Uchiha Madara is so serious, otherwise he will feel that there is more color on his head. Worthy of being called the strongest woman among female ninjas, Uchiha Madara praised. Senju Hashirama's mouth twitched slightly, and he joked, Madara, you don't marry a wife, it's not because of Mito? Hearing this, Uchiha Madara showed a serious expression, nodded and said, it's not bad if you want to say that. Everyone. No, what you said is all in our imaginations, and we can say that each has half and half of the responsibility. After all, your use of words is really subtle, and of course we do have some color. But now, what you said is a challenge. Tsunade, as expected of my grandma, she actually made Uchiha Madara fall in love with her. By wooden golem. It's a solid hammer. Uchiha Madara and first Hokage are allied because of Uzumaki Mito, and finally separated because of her. Terumi Mei. The feeling that you can't love your child. Fortunately, Yu Chen is so caring. Yi Kang. It's rare to think that being fickle is a good thing. Sam Yi. If the news spreads, shouldn't it shock countless people? Black soil. This melon is really ripe. Madara, you like Mito. Senju Hashirama became brilliant. On the one hand, he is thankful that he is close to the water and is the first to strike first. On the other hand, I feel weird. I thought Madara and Mito were rivals in love, but it turned out that Madara and Mito were rivals in love? Wait. Why do I think Madara and Kazuto are rivals in love? Senju Hashirama was lost in thought, feeling that something was wrong with him. Like Mito? Hearing Senju Hashirama's words, Uchiha Madara smiled dismissively and said, what are you kidding, I don't like her. You don't like it? Senju Hashirama was puzzled. Didn't you say that you are single all your life because of Mito? Because Mito is single all his life, not for Mito's single life. Uchiha Madara understood Senju Hashirama's meaning and corrected. Although women are just heterosexual creatures for me to reproduce, I don't want my woman to be worse than yours. Understand? As soon as this remark came out, everyone was stunned. It turned out that after witnessing Uzumaki Mito's excellent, I thought that there was no woman more excellent than her in the ninja world, and I didn't want to be compared to Senju Hashirama when I was looking for a woman, so I chose to be single. This is very in line with Uchiha Madara's arrogant and proud character. But the girls were disappointed. Ju Shingna. I thought there was some kind of melon, that's it. Fragrant phosphorus. Disappointed. Boring. Wasted. Chakra. No. What's up with you two Uzumaki? Are the melons from your parents so delicious? Tsunade. But I didn't expect that my grandmother could get such a high evaluation from Uchiha Madara. Terumi Mei. Some want to become the wife of the ninja god. Makoto. I don't know how it compares to Kagaya G. Kagaya. She is also worthy? You have a chance. Samui. It's rare that you still affirm us. Kagaya. Misunderstood, I'm sure it's not you, but Yu-chen in the diary. With Yu-chen's care and the rewards you get from the diary, your conditions are limitless, and it is not impossible for me and me to stand at the same height in the future, so I say you have a chance. Kagaya. Otherwise, ants also want to shake the sky. Think about why the ninja world has been born for thousands of years. Secretly thinking that they like it, the girls were a little silent for a while. Indeed, the power of chakra was brought by the Otsutsuki clan, and it can be said that the ninja world had the opportunity to be born because of this. The first big battle was the 2 days between Kagaya and her. The subsequent wars were between ninja clans, and the most famous ninja clans such as Senju, Uchiha, Uzumaki, Hyuga, Takitori and other families can be said that the closer the relationship with Kagaya, the higher the bloodline, the stronger the strength. In addition, the 6 paths ninja tools, the big-tailed beasts, the 5 hidden village wars, etc. are all inextricably linked. After such an analysis, the world still values bloodlines more than most of the time. The arrival of Yu-chen and possession of the diary not only changed the tragic fate for them. It is what they rely on to completely change their lives. So, this man is really charming. Terumi Mei Green's eyes sparkled with spring. All the other girls were also excited. On the roof, the sleepy person puts his hands between his legs. Matabi, you stinky cat. No, tailed beasts also need to sleep, I'm obviously not doing anything right now. I'm wrong, I'm really wrong. I didn't do anything, and you became lecherous, and you still blame me. Do tailed beasts have no human rights? In the sealed space inside the wooden golem, the 2 Matabi let out a roar. It really didn't expect that wooden golem, a heroic woman, could do such a petty thing. Almost 20 years, since she became friends with wooden golem, she has not been locked in a small dark room. No, I, Matabi, cannot take the blame for nothing. Matabi's eyes were fixed, and he had a decision in his heart. Because wooden golem is going to do dirty things now, so I won't show her. When she is released later, she will increase the output again, even making wooden golem dream of Yu-chen. The next time we meet, there will definitely be a very embarrassing performance. At the same time, inside the post house, Samuel was sitting by the window looking at the moonlight, wearing light sleepiness on his body, and his beautiful figure was looming, but unfortunately no one had the opportunity to find out. Kagayaheim, looking at the moon, Samuel suddenly smiled. I have lived for a long time, and I can see it clearly. World government will eventually be established, I have to change my thinking. People live in Konoha, near water and towers, of course they must get the moon first. In a room separated from Samuel by a wall, Haitu was wearing a small sling lying on the upper body, slender for 2 days, with his legs crossed and swinging, holding his cheek in his hand and thinking seriously. I'm not old enough, so I can only wait slowly. But Yu-chen Junjun seems to have never written in his diary that he likes me. Should she give it for nothing? If not, learn from other little sisters and develop your own strengths, which may make Yu-chen look sideways. Brother Yu-chen. In Yu-chen's mansion, Hinata and Ziyuan were sleeping on the same bed watching the live broadcast of the diary, their eyes blurred. The more she reads the diary, the more she chats with the girls, the more she feels the image of Yu-chen in her heart. Although there is an agreement and a special favorite, but some things are not done, she feels that Yu-chen is still quicksand in his hands. Once again, she hated that she was still young and couldn't do some things. At this moment, Ziyuan's voice sounded from beside her. It would be great if I could grow up all at once. Sister Ziyuan, do you also dislike yourself for being young? Also, Hinata sauce too? The voice was like a mosquito. Ziyuan was close, but she still heard clearly, and couldn't help but think. It seems that Hinata is also old enough to think about those things. Sister Shion. Hinata coquettishly shyly. How can such a thing be said directly? Haha, we are each other. Ziyuan stuck out her tongue, and said with a light smile, Master Yu Chen wrote in his diary that the rainbow always comes after the wind and rain. After the experience, you can see the beautiful scenery. A good meal is not afraid of being late. Seemingly afraid that Hinata would think too much, Ziyuan said a lot of comforting words at once. When he realized that he was talking too much, he found that Hinata was looking at her with playful eyes. Sister, is that how you comfort yourself? Ziyuan's expression suddenly changed. Oops, because I said too much, one step of caution was exposed, and it's still on Hinata-chan's side. At this time, Hinata continued, Sister Ziyuan, do you remember that Yu Chen big brother wrote a sentence in the diary? What? Ziyuan asked instinctively. Take action against us, start in 3 years. I know, I'm underage. Then, if he doesn't even want to do it for me, is he ashamed to say he loves me? Hinata asked earnestly. 3 big question marks appeared above Ziyuan's head. Misty grass. At first glance, it sounds like a big problem, but when you think about it carefully, it seems that there is no problem. Wait. How could Hinata have such a dangerous idea? Hinata-chan, it's wrong for you to have this idea. What's wrong with me? It's high. He is respectful and does not violate the wishes of women. So, Sister Ziyuan's wish is to keep a distance from Yu Chen big brother? Asked her. Looking at this cute and shy girl who she felt very compatible with, and thought of showing off as an obedient girl, Ziyuan realized for the first time that she was completely wrong. This is a little devil. At the same time, Phosphorus is watching the live broadcast with Kaizui. The two are very harmonious, and together they commit a nympho to Yu Chen again. The other women also showed their own performances, as if awakened by a word from Kagaya-ji. At this time, Sora was also speechless by the performance of Senju Hashirama and Uchiha Madara. He casually jotted it down in his diary. Laughing to death, I thought Uchiha Madara and Uzumaki Mito had some secrets to tell. My pants are all X, and I have paper and pen ready, so you let me listen to this story? It's boring. Let's see how Uchiha Obito is going to escape and target Black Zetsu. On 8 trigrams, you are not lost to others. Brother, you'd better stop discussing embarrassingly with Madara here. Senju Tobarama put his hand on his forehead, and was really speechless to this big brother. Does your own woman have anything to do with Uchiha Madara, don't you know? I want you to control? Uchiha Madara sneered. Uchiha Madara, you'd better show me some respect in the future, otherwise you will end up miserable. Senju Tobarama said coldly. Try. Uchiha Madara's expression was serious, and the momentum of her whole body gradually rose. Guess if I don't have eyes, can I still open the full-body Susanoo? Senju Tobarama's forbidden technique really makes people feel tricky. But in the face of absolute strength, it is still useless. And the perfect body, Susanoo, is definitely an unshakable force for Senju Tobarama. Water style without the blessing of immortality can't even break through Susanoo's defense. Dark line technique. After he gave Rinnegan to Uzumaki Nagato, it took him a long time to adapt to the darkness. Impure world reincarnation is tricky, but he is fully resurrected now, and some are sealed at the end. Flying Thunder God technique, to him it can only be escape ninjutsu. He is worthy of Senju Tobarama. Madara, I'm not the one who really wants to do it. Senju Tobarama crossed his arms and said coldly, to tell you the truth, Yu Chen is my grandson-in-law. If you challenge me in the future, do you think my prospective grandson-in-law can stand by and watch? What he said was arrogance. The corners of Uchiha Madara's eyes twitched, but he didn't dare to say anything. He could feel that although he was blessed with the power of the Box of Bliss, he was not as good as when he opened the Rinnegan, but he was infinitely closer, and he was obviously stronger than he was in his heyday. But Yu Chen can easily suppress him, which shows how powerful he is. It is definitely not an exaggeration to say that he is the number 1 under 6 paths. Unless there is Rinnegan, he dare not challenge Yu Chen at all. Of course, it's mainly because Yu Chen is young and knows a lot. Even Black Zetsu can be subdued, and the initiative is someone who cannot be offended. For a moment, Uchiha Madara was silent. But he was silent, so naturally someone expressed something to say. Second Grandpa. What nonsense are you talking about? Tsunade blushed and said, when will Yu Chen be your grandson-in-law? Shaogang, don't be shy. Senju Tobarama said seriously. You didn't always tell me that you like Yu Chen, but you just think age is the obstacle between you two. Second grandpa will decide for you in this matter, and will personally marry you. Tsunade didn't know what to say for a moment. To say that there is no idea is to deceive oneself and others. Senju Tobarama's words are still solving a difficulty for her. But now we are obviously dealing with Uchiha Obito, can't we pay attention to the atmosphere of the scene? Do you have to say it in front of so many people? Yu Chen. What do you think of this matter? Senju Tobarama looked at Yu Ya. Go back to Konoha, it's inappropriate to discuss this matter now. Yu Chen didn't give an answer immediately. He could see that Tsunade seemed to have an idea, but he didn't want to make such a hasty decision. Senju Tobarama is indeed a 10,000 years old bachelor who doesn't understand women's hearts. Tsunade likes it, you can hint at me, I will naturally speak up. How can you say it in public? If it was a shy girl, wouldn't something happen? Tsunade is so beautiful, which normal man would refuse? Anyway, I won't. But this matter cannot be said here, it still has a taste of forced confession, which is disrespectful to my Tsunade wife. Yu Chen condemned Senju Tobarama in his diary. Seeing these words, Tsunade felt so sweet. Just now Yu Chen didn't directly agree, she began to doubt herself. After all age. Even in the future, the comparison with Kagaya will not be easy for her to overcome. Unexpectedly, Yu Chen totally wanted to respect what he meant. Yes, it's important to deal with business first. Tsunade cooperated, pointed at Uchiha Obito and said, take Rinnegan back to Nagato first, and talk about other things later. When Uchiha Madara heard this, he wanted to say that Rinnegan is his Rinnegan. But thinking of the scene in the relationship between Yu Chen and Uzumaki Nagato's brother-in-law, he held back. I'll take the eyes. Konan raised his hand and was ready to fly to Uchiha Obito to take his eyes. But a hand stopped her, it was Yu Chen. He faced Uchiha Obito, and said again, Obito, it's all over, aren't you ready to leave? It's that sentence again. Everyone was puzzled for a while. Why did Yu Chen decide that Uchiha Obito must be able to leave? Could it be that Uchiha Obito is holding some special cards? For this point, Uchiha Obito is also puzzled. Does Yu Chen know his layout? I know my layout? Uchiha Obito asked. And what he said was undoubtedly what Yu Chen said. He really has a way to get out of here, even if he is controlled by Black Zetsu. No, if you knew my layout, why didn't you deal with it in advance? Uchiha Obito denied again. And his words also made everyone nod. With Yu Chen's strength, if he had known that Uchiha Obito was going to leave, he would definitely have responded in advance, such as a special barrier that was not inferior to the 5-element barrier of Guangxiang. You don't have to think so much. Zhao Yu Chen said calmly, after learning that you can predict the future, I guessed that today might not be able to stay. And after you called out Black Zetsu, I knew I couldn't keep you today. Based on your character, Fixed has long been ready to jump away completely. Hearing this, everyone was even more puzzled. Knowing that Uchiha Obito can see the future, it is no problem to deduce that he will escape. But why the arrival of Black Zetsu would testify to this? Is there any connection between the two? I understand what you mean. Uchiha Obito's eyes flashed, and he sighed in his heart. Yu Chen's wisdom that can penetrate people's hearts is as daunting compared to his strength. Everyone. What are the two Riddlemen doing here? Kukina was impatient, and immediately wanted to ask. But at this moment, a streamer of light suddenly fell from the sky and stood beside Yu Chen. Lin. Uchiha Obito's Adam's apple twitched, his eyes widened. In the future he saw, there was no resurrection of Nohara Lin. That's right, in the original, future trajectory, he was seriously injured by Yu Chen who suddenly appeared, and he tried his best to escape in front of him, but in the end he was plotted to end by Black Zetsu. Is there any chance to meet Nohara Rin? But this time was different, he had planned to deal with it early, and the battle has passed for a long time. Obito. Nohara Lin smiled, and said softly as always, go back to Konoha, find a way to make up for all the mistakes you made, I believe you will be able to do it. The encouragement from the heart without any impurities made Uchiha Obito close his eyes and weep. It really feels familiar. Seeing this scene, Zhao Yu Chen frowned slightly, feeling that the opportunity was just right. After the battle, Black Zetsu is temporarily his son, Uchiha Madara chooses not to resist, and has a tender love with Dazuzi, leaving only one Uchiha Obito. This is the only guy who has not been successfully mauled by Uzumaki Naruto, and even almost blackened Naruto in turn. Actually, it is not as simple as people think. In terms of the firm will of a certain face, he may be the most terrifying existence in the ninja world, because even the will of 10 tails was forcibly reassembled when he was about to devour him. I hate this kind of guy who deceives teachers and destroys ancestors, who can kill innocent people indiscriminately with just one reason, and who does bad things with ideals and even justice, but I don't deny this guy's will, so he can't be cleansed. Even Uchiha Madara can barely wash it. The most important thing is to persuade him to enter, but this is Uchiha Obito unless he changes his mind, otherwise it will be counterproductive if others say more, so I speculate that after he can leave, he will not going to do anything. But I didn't want to fight. Second Hokage and they all wanted to finish their work in one battle, but it was destined to be useless. And now, Nohara Lin is here, probably feeling Uchiha Obito's chakra through the spiritualization technique, and wants to come over to end this battle. A very good idea, but unfortunately there is basically no possibility of success. If you rely on Nohara Rin is enough, why should I take action against Uchiha Obito and directly release the news that you have been resurrected? Wouldn't it be fine? Even I can release the news of Nohara Lin at the same time, so that Uchiha Obito must cooperate if he doesn't want to cooperate, award the first. However, since she is here, it is also a good thing for her to let her have a try. Zhao Yuchen didn't move, just watched closely, but actually updated the diary in his heart. Serious people don't like to write diaries, but fortunately he is an unscrupulous old pervert. Diary, superficial understanding is together every day. The correct understanding is to write down while you are writing, and read as you go. And he was able to realize this clearly because he discovered that the girls could see the diary. In a word, routine. Seeing Yu Chen's words, the girls were extremely disturbed. Kagaya. Black Zetsu is a son, not bad, at. Goddess Izuki, you are such a woman. To say it sounds good is to live a transparent life, but to say it sounds bad is to lick the dog. Tsunade. No, Uchiha Madara and my great-grandpa are tender and sweet. Well, the truth. Tsunade originally wanted to retort. But looking at Senju Hashirama who was nagging Uchiha Madara, she found that she had no position. Kushina. I remember once saying that if Uchiha Madara changed her gender, she would definitely not have Grandma Mito, and Senju and Uchiha swept the world directly. I think it is very right. Makoto. As you said, I don't know if there is a way to change the gender of Uchiha Madara in the ninja world. Female. You Uchiha are really rich Mad Batch. Is it okay to actually want to change the gender of your ancestors? Samui. The most relevant question should not be why Yu Chen concluded that Uchiha Obito can leave. Shizune. When it comes to this, we are still superficial. Mr. Yu Chen really thought of everything, including Lin. Hinata. But why does brother Yu Chen think that sister Lin is not good? He is not Obito to sister Lin. Zayuan. That's the feeling that I can directly open the Urguyu Sharingan to Mangekyo, which is a little worse than I have with Lord Yu Chen. Female. This nympho, please sit down, sit down. We are discussing the matter of Uchiha Obito. Nohara Lin, he also said, it's a good thing for me. At this moment, the one with the most complicated heart was Nohara Lin. She never had any other feelings for Obito. She admired Hatake Kakashi, but that's about it. After Uchiha Obito's death, she aims to become a great medical ninja like Tsunade. As for love and love, wait until the age is right and you meet the right one, but it will definitely not be Kakashi. The calculated death made her witness Obito's blackening and hysteria, and make more mistakes. In her heart, she always felt that she was responsible for this matter, even if she was passive. So in Yu Chen's group chat, she was a bit out of place. Because she pretended to be on her mind, she couldn't do anything and let go of life. In terms of mental age alone, she is about the same as Makoto Terumi Mei now. And now, she feels that if she can persuade Obito to turn back, she can redeem some of her sins. But judging from Yu Chen's words, he is not optimistic about himself, but it is good for him. Back to Konoha. Mistake. Uchiha Obito finished crying, smiling but not smiling, half crying but not crying, and said coldly, Lin, do you even think I did something wrong? I have been resurrected, and all mistakes can be made up for. Now that you know the truth about Moon's Eyes plan, why do you want to push it forward? Nohara Lin persuaded. Make it up. Uchiha Obito slapped himself on the chest, and said coldly, the mirror is broken. Will it be the original mirror when it is glued back? Won't the crack disappear? As long as the ninja system still exists in this world, mistakes will always exist. Making up for it will happen again, treating the symptoms but not the root cause. Lin. I don't blame Uchiha Madara for plotting against me, because he made me see the truth of this world clearly. It's not me, nor you and you who are wrong, but this world. So, I also change the world, the way I want to. Do you understand? If it's Lin, you should be able to understand me, right? Hearing this, Nohara Lin nodded and said, I can really understand you. The system of this world, the existence of certain things, constantly lead to tragedies. But all of this, Mr. Yu Chen has come up with a plan to change, so that everyone in Konoha, everyone in the Akatsuki organization, and more people think it is feasible. So Obito, why don't you come back and work hard with us? Hearing the first half of Nohara Rin's words, Obito was still very happy. But the second half of the sentence directly made his face gloomy again. Lin, I didn't expect that even you couldn't understand me. How can mortals change the world? No amount of change has flaws. If you want to change the world, you must become a god. Before that, a little sacrifice is necessary. If you can't break it, you can't stand it, do you understand? In order to do all this, I must become a 10 tails Jinchuriki. And when she said this, Nohara Lin and everyone were astonished. Uchiha Obito, who is so persistent, seems to be a bit different from what Yu Chen said. Sure enough, asking Nohara Rin to persuade Uchiha Obito is impossible. This is Uchiha Obito, otherwise there is a problem. Don't you find it contradictory to say that? It is also said that Uchiha Obito's blackening can prove how deep his feelings for Nohara Lin are. But now it is said that Nohara Lin will never be able to persuade Uchiha Obito to change his ways. Isn't this completely contradictory? Did he feel it, or didn't he? The girls fell into deep thought. Nohara Lin also saw Yu Chen's emotion written in the diary. Her heart sank, but she still persuaded. The ninja world is not perfect, but that is the real world, a world of flesh and blood, a world that truly belongs to us. World. We know the world is bad, so we want to work hard to change it and make it better. Everyone works hard together, even if it fails, it's more meaningful, isn't it? Rin Nohara looked seriously into Uchiha Obito's eyes with a sincere tone. Obito's heart twitched, and he even panicked. But soon, thinking about his plan, and thinking that he could dominate everything after becoming 10 tails Jinchuriki, he felt that the short-term pain was nothing. As long as he wins in the end, everything can be overthrown and restarted. I can live the life I want most, become Hokage, lead Uchiha, and win the beauty. Lin, you are still so kind, you haven't changed at all. Maybe you are right, but I believe in my own method more. No one can guarantee their own decision, their own plan is absolute, isn't it? Obito took a deep breath and said seriously, in this case, we will work hard to see whose ideal is more realistic. If there are differences in the pursuit of dreams and ideal vision, then when we meet, I will show mercy to you and let you stay until the end to witness my success. Nohara Lin was completely ashamed. As Yu Chen said, Uchiha Obito actually didn't listen to her advice. Even knowing everything, even if Project Tsuki no Mi is a conspiracy of Uchiha Madara is also deceived by Black Zetsu, and Black Zetsu is the will of Otsutsuki Kagaya, who is more of a cosmic race. He still has no hesitation to embark on the road of collecting tailed beasts, not hesitate to make enemies of all the hidden villages, and also to become the road of 10 tails Jinchuriki, which is a dark road. But why? Anko, it's really the same as Mr. Yu Chen said. This Obito refused without any hesitation. Kyuko Nai, sure enough, it is Uchiha's problem child, who is so extreme in his actions. Makoto. When you say Uchiha Obito, you say Uchiha Obito. Why do you bring Uchiha? Hinata. Sister Makoto, wake up, you are not Uchiha. Piano. Yes, she is not, although she has Uchiha blood, she has Mangekyo Sharingan, but her last name is Zhao. By Wooden Golem. Is there something wrong with this Uchiha Obito? We Jinchuriki must die and give him the tail beast. Kurama Yakumo. And he becomes 10 tails Jinchuriki, he may become the carrier of Sister Kaguya's resurrection at any time. Why can't he think about it so much? Maoyue Shion. I am really sick. Choose the path that is the most difficult to walk, the most sacrificed, and the risk is also the highest in the end. Is it okay to directly replace Yu Chen-jun? Terumi Mei. Obviously, our man knew all this a long time ago, so we didn't think about asking Nohara Lin to persuade Uchiha Obito, and planned to solve him early in the morning. Black Soil. But this is not right, isn't Mr. Yu Chen transformed because of Lin? Lin has been resurrected, why don't you agree to persuade him to return from the wrong way? Tsunade. No, in fact, it is certain that Lin will definitely not be able to persuade Obito to succeed. Otherwise Yu Chen would be able to announce this to the public as soon as he resurrected him, attracting Obito to Konoha, and even designing him. Sam Yi. Yes, this is exactly what I thought, so what is going on with this contradiction? For a moment, OU Nu fell into doubts, but the next moment, their eyes lit up. Because Yu Chen seemed to know the confusion in their hearts, he gave the answer in the diary. How is a hero born? It's very simple. Give him a childhood that has gone through hardships and even tragedy, an extremely rough life, and a little psychological sustenance or love. Tay. How could it involve the birth of a hero? But what he said made a lot of sense. Heroes are not just strong ones. For example, Yu Chen never calls himself a hero, because he also does things based on his likes and dislikes, and some things may even be wrong in the eyes of the public. For example, Sarutobi Hiruzen is hesitant to calculate. To be reasonable, no matter how dark Sarutobi Hiruzen is, he has never done anything wrong to Yu Chen. Another typical example is Uzumaki Naruto, who was the son of 4th generation but was only exposed as 9 Tails Jinchuriki. And the so-called love in Naruto's heart must be Sarutobi Hiruzen's hard work, instilling Hokage, so that he has the obsession to become Hokage and be recognized by everyone. According to Yu Chen, Uzumaki Naruto did succeed in the end, and defeated the blackened Uchiha Sasuke, and finally guarded the ninja world together and resisted Otsutsuki. But why is Yu Chen talking about this here? So how to completely blacken a person? It's very simple, take away that little bit of sustenance or love. Hiss. The girls were startled, they only felt chills down their backs. These cold words made them seem to witness the misery. Actually, Uchiha Obito is very similar to Uzumaki Naruto. What? The girls were shocked. Naruto is the tail of the crane, and so is Uchiha Obito. Naruto longs for Sasuke, Obito also longs for Kakashi. Sasuke was once blackened, Naruto gave light, and Kakashi was also blackened, it was Obito who gave light. Naruto was looked down upon by the villagers since he was a child. Uchiha Obito, who was born in a wealthy family of the Uchiha family, became the tail of a crane. Seeing this, the girls couldn't help thinking that this is why Obito mercilessly exterminated Uchiha's clan. Naruto aspires to be Hokage, with a life mentor like Jiraiya, and later recognized by his peers, he walks towards the light. Obito aspires to become Hokage, has a teacher like Namikaze Minato, and is encouraged by Nohara Rin, and has a bright future. Later, Jiraiya died, and Naruto, who never came to the sun, was silent, but he still had Kakashi by his side, and his friends from Konoha village, so he grew up overnight, but still a hero. Nohara Rin died, but was still killed by Kakashi, and Namikaze Minato ate it again. Seeing all this, Obito directly blackened and became a demon who wanted to change the ninja world. Seeing this comparison, all the girls suddenly felt that Obito is not so evil. As he said, he's hopeless about the world, totally understandable, isn't it? He is really a hateful person, is there something pitiful? For a moment, the eyelids of the sensual girls retracted slightly. But I want to say, all of this is bullshit. Yes, you Obito was blindsided, but at most it was because of the anger of the clansmen. You didn't work hard, but thought of being recognized by the villagers for helping the old lady cross the road. It's not bad, but it's not that you are a ninja's choice. What's more, no matter what the clansmen do, they have never missed you to eat, wear less, or cultivate resources less than you. If you go to see the ninjas outside Konoha village, you may die in missions, be precarious in wars, or even the 5 major in Hidden Village. Compare the ninjas in Sanagakure who mostly eat sand. Water is useless. You go to the ninjas in Kirigakure on the opposite side. Graduation begins with killing one's own people. Yanyang village and Cloud Shinobi village are better, that is, better. You what's so dissatisfied? Actually, Naruto's treatment exceeds 60% to 70% of the people. Just considering his status as the son of a hero, he shouldn't be blindsided. Tamari. Did we Sanagakure eat your rice, or how did we drop it, saying that we ate sand for a long time? But the water is really lacking, and it is hard to take a bath. Well, there is another option to get married. Terumi May. Although it was caused by Obito, but Kirigakure's graduation exam. Forget it, nothing to say. But Yu Chen woke up the hit person with a word. As for Namikaze Minato, it's wrong to be late, what about Uzumaki Kushina? To bully teachers and destroy ancestors is inhumane and has nothing to wash. You blackened because of Nohara Lin. Fart, you blackened because of yourself. Right here. Yu Chen felt that it was not enough. What's the meaning of hi? Uchiha Obito. Zhao Yuchen said directly. I let you go, but if you don't go, you're still talking nonsense here. Do you really think I can't keep you? After saying that, he mobilized the power of his eyes. Tensigen in metamorphosis, that's Tensigen too. If you use it directly, there may be side effects. For example, Otsutsuki Sharon, because it was obvious to Naruto, after not dealing with it at the last moment, the Tensigen you have is an experience card, and it will be directly degenerated after being defeated. It is not a wise decision to affect one's own eyes in order to keep Uchiha Obito. Anyway, leading the way to leave will not cause him any problems. After Tensigen awakens, he can handle it easily. What's the hurry? But this means that Uchiha Obito can talk a lot. Boom. 6 paths level power is faintly about to leave the body. Chakra mode is on the verge of being turned on. The on-site space has the feeling of being forcibly imprisoned. Sensing the situation, Uchiha Madara was shocked. 6 paths class. Be the first to have a Rinnegan since Sage of 6 paths. Even though he was extremely old at that time, Uchiha knew very well how powerful the 6 paths class was. That is a qualitative improvement, the sublimation of all life essence and strength means, and it is another field. If Senju Hashirama and him represent the strongest 6 paths class, then it is also the strongest on the ground, infinitely close to the sky. And the 6 paths level is above the sky, looking down on the earth, they cannot be compared. Under 6 paths, ending with ants. Even a 6 paths class with only Rinnegan or Sage body wouldn't be complete, but that's what it is. But now, Uchiha Madara really felt a similar aura emanating from Yu Chen, looming, as if wandering between heaven and earth. Simply poke through that layer of paper and feather dust will step into the 6 paths class. He actually managed to get into the 6 paths class on his own. Could it be that those covered eyes are eternal Mangekyo Sharingan? Then he is still the Senju clan, combining the power of Senju and Uchiha like me. Or, is it the Otsutsuki that Hashirama mentioned, the white eye? Losing both eyes, Yu Zebolayer saw the image of Yu Chen wearing a white ribbon, so he had this guess. But now he also knows the existence and power of the Otsutsuki clan, so he is not one-sided. This is the 6 paths class. Senju Hashirama's face turned serious rarely. That can also feel a level of suppression. In front of that level of strength, when he used Sage mode in his heyday, he could barely touch the edge, and he never dared to say he won. This is the real 6 paths class. Uzumaki Nagato's eyes flashed. His body was severely damaged, and his eyes were transplanted Uchiha Madara, not his own. Therefore, although he can use most of Rinnegan's abilities, his strength can only be said to be at the same level as Senju Hashirama, or even slightly inferior. Yu Chen has not yet fully entered the 6 paths level, but it gives him such a sense of oppression, which shows Changtian. And this also made him more determined to die, and then to die after being transplanted by Yu Chen to Mangekyo Sharingan. At that time, he himself has the Uzumaki physique branched from the power of Yang Escape, and he also has the Sharingan power of Yin Escape developed to ultimate. After combining, it is possible to open the Sage body and Rinnegan, which belong to him. Uchiha Madara's 6 paths class is only strong but not weak. Tensigen, this is the power of the Tensigen. So, he still has the power of the Otsutsuki clan. Having this kind of power in your hands, it's no wonder that you can be favored by your mother. He really didn't lie to me. Black Zetsu was overwhelmed with surprise. In fact, more than anyone else, he hopes that Yu Chen is not lying to him, everything is true. What is it to recognize the father? As long as the mother can be resurrected, it doesn't matter if he dies immediately. Tsunade. Is this the 6 paths class? Just a breath, I feel uncomfortable. Yi Kang. I am impure world reincarnation, and I feel that I can be obliterated in the next moment. Terumi Mei. Forget the reaction of second Hokage when first Hokage was serious last time? Black soil, indeed, the aura of chakra released by first Hokage at that time was very scary, let alone Yu Chen now. Makoto. With this feeling, I kind of understand why Amazuki is so defiant. Ju Zuna. There is no person in the real eyes. Kagaya. I don't deny this point, so I treat you differently because you have the qualifications and opportunities to step into the 6 paths class. Seeing this message, all the girls subconsciously tightened their diaries. This is the proof that they have changed their destiny, and it is also the proof that they are different in Yu Chen. Have a diary, follow Yu Chen, the future is endless. So strong. Obito was so shocked that he was so frightened that he almost used his backhand directly. He felt that it was possible for Yu Chen to get rid of him before he escaped. I don't understand, are you a clown, qualified to be here? Yu Chen stepped forward, and said lightly, for the Uchiha clan, they have never treated you harshly, they gave you food, gave you clothes, and gave you a high-quality life and cultivation resources that surpassed 90% of the ninja world. Mocking you can also be used as a spur, but in the end you turned black and raised your butcher knife to kill everyone. If my guess is correct, Uchiha Itachi only wanted to kill the Hawks at first, but after he actually started killing them, he felt that killing only the Hawks was not enough, so he only left Uchiha Sasuke under your instigation, which is ridiculous. You are disloyal to the family, I don't understand. Speaking of Namikaze Minato, there has never been a shortage of teachings for you. Although the Uchiha clan has a bad reputation in Konoha, they treat you and Kakashi equally. Kakunai treats you as a mother and sister. But you raised the butcher's knife when she was weakest, you can say that it directly caused Naruto to cry out in sorrow, and you never felt ashamed? You will repay your kindness with revenge, and the behavior of villains is worse than pigs and dogs. Kirigakure. The appearance in the blood mist is just you venting your personal anger. Those blood successor limit ninjas offended you? Being angry with others is incompetent, but if you have the ability, you should find a way to save Nohara Lin and change the world. To Konoha, Zhao Yuchen output a meal, devaluing Uchiha Obito as worthless. No, it's not derogatory, because everything is a fact. Uchiha Obito, it's just that bad. Uchiha Itachi can also be said to be a psycho, a white-eyed wolf, but he is good to Konoha and Sasuke. What about Uchiha Obito? Rin Nohara. It's all because of Lin. Do you want to create a world where there is Lin and eternal peace? Ridiculous, that's just an excuse, a trick of your own deception. Yu Chen paused and pointed out Uchiha Obito's uselessness. At the scene, including Rin Nohara, they looked at Uchiha Obito with disgust at the moment. Just because what Zhao Yu Chen said is an undeniable fact that has already happened. He is not talking nonsense or talking about the future, but analyzing existing information. Uchiha Obito, I really can't wash it, you are talking nonsense. Feeling the disappointment in Nohara Lin's eyes, Uchiha Obito only felt his most sensitive nerves being touched, and said angrily, my feelings for you, Lin, absolutely cannot be slandered by you. Then you handed over Rinnegan and captured it without a fight. Zhao Yuchen said indifferently, why don't you listen to Lin's advice and insist on going your own way? It would be fine to say that the path you are taking is indeed correct, but it turns out that this is the most difficult, arduous, hardest choice to realize, and the most likely to go wrong after it is realized. Why, you must choose him. Uchiha Obito opened his mouth and didn't know what to say. For Lin? Lin needs him to do this. What the hell is that for you? Because you are cowardly and inferior. Yu Chen directly pointed out the facts. In fact, you are still the cowardly and inferior Cranetail when you were a child. You want to be Hokage, just because you think you can change yourself, not because of the will of fire. You told Kakashi that companions are more important than quests, but you shot at your clansmen, the same village, and your good friend Kakunai. How ridiculous. You do like, even love Rin Nohara, because she's gentle with you, cares for you when no one cares about you, it's salvation in your eyes, and she affirms that you can be Hokage's dream. You became what you are today, it is indeed because of Lilin. But after that, everything you did was said to be for Lin, but it was actually an excuse. You, Uchiha Obito, are just a poor escaping creature who deserves no sympathy. Listening to Yu Chen's words, everyone has a clear understanding of Uchiha Obito. Admittedly, he was being tricked by Uchiha Madara, but he's just a poor, low self-esteem wretch. Even things like changing the world and doing bad things still have to be done in the name of Nohara Lin. You're talking nonsense. Uchiha Obito's complexion was ugly, but he still refused to admit it, and continued. I know what it feels like to have no power, and I can't help myself at all. Everything is decided by others, and I can't trust others. As for Lin, she may also be bewitched by you. Only when I see my dreams and aspirations myself, can I rest assured. Maybe Lin can't understand now, but when I succeed, he will definitely understand my wry smile. Tisk. Hearing Obito's self-deceiving words, everyone sneered in their hearts. Until now, he still said so. It's better to admit it directly, like a man. I'm talking nonsense. Yu Chen said calmly with his hands behind his back. You are wrong. I have evidence, and it hits your heart directly, and there is no evidence that can be discerned. Hearing this, everyone showed curiosity. People's behavior can be seen, but it is not so easy in the heart. Obito obviously wouldn't just stand there and read Yuchen's mind, that would be the same as turning himself in. So, what can Feather do? Mangekyo Sharingan. Mangekyo Sharingan. Your Kamui. Zhao Yuchen stretched out his finger to Obito's eyes. He denies everything about Uchiha Obito, of course not discrediting, but telling the truth. Kamui. Uchiha Obito Rinnegan flinched, already guessing what Yukong was going to say. Not only him, but anyone who knows something about Sharingan can also guess the answer. The biggest answer, as Kamui. Zhao Yuchen's complexion remained unchanged, and he talked freely. Sharingan is called the Eye of the Soul. Normally speaking, Sharingan's growth method is to cultivate spiritual ability and increase the power of yin escape. It is like the shadow of Nara's family imitating the secret technique. It only focuses on the eyes, and can improve the Guyu step by step, but the 3 Guyu is the limit. Only in this way, Sharingan is a healthy evolution. It seems that Baian can improve various abilities through training, and even has special effects. The Uchiha family will not be dominated by extreme emotions, and there will be no forced improvement of strength, which will lead to physical problems. Case. But Uchiha is addicted to the thrill of skyrocketing, or the unrest and war in the ninja world, which prevents them from embarking on a smooth path of cultivation and regards stimulating eyes as the most correct law. But no matter what, under normal circumstances, the evolution of the 3-hook jade is the limit. In the future, it is not enough to simply cultivate the power of yin dun, but an emotional stimulation is needed. After the 3-gold jade is opened normally, opening the Mangekyo Sharingan is actually a matter of understanding one's own inner problems, so as to develop the most suitable pupil technique for oneself and reflect the truest side of one's soul. The same is true for abnormal evolution, but because you have never realized yourself, you will only awaken the Sharingan when you lose what you care about the most, or when you are extremely eager for something. Distinguished heavenly gods, Uchiha Shisui's Mangekyo Sharingan has the ability to forcibly rewrite people's will, reflecting his strong desire to change the Uchiha clan through his own ability. Tsukuyomi and Amaterasu. Amaterasu is the power represented by the strongest flame, and Tsukuyomi is illusion, which respectively represent that Uchiha Itachi has the power to change the Uchiha family, and has the heart to constantly deceive himself and Uchiha Sasuke. Uchiha Madara is a direct Mangekyo Sharingan, the same as what Uchiha Sasuke will awaken in the future. It has the effect of increasing its own abilities and blessing various physical attack methods. It shows that Madara and Sasuke both purely want to become stronger, because they want to become stronger. Once strong, you can do what you want, such as war, such as revenge. Uchiha Fugaku's TNG Lee can predict and deduce the future because, as the patriarch, he wants to see clearly the future of the Uchiha clan and find a way out for the peaceful coexistence of the family in the village. Unfortunately, he failed. Makoto was resurrected from the underworld because of his extreme desire to return to reality. So your Kamui, what do you say? At the end, Zhao Yuchen asked back. Uchiha Obito was livid and unable to answer. Watching this scene, Senju Tobarama added, using Kamui, you can enter a different space that is not in reality. He obviously wants to escape from reality. According to me, you opened Mangekyo Sharingan, which is the 3rd Ninja World War. During Kakashi and Lin's mission, due to Madara's design, Lin became 3 Tails Jinchuriki and voluntarily was killed by Kakashi in order to protect Konoha village. You who saw this scene with your own eyes cannot accept it. There was an eye on Kakashi at the time, and the awakening of your eye has something to do with him. Then, one of you wants to escape the reality of killing your good friend with your own hands. The other is to escape the reality that the person you like is killed by your best friend? This is very strange. Seeing you who lost Nohara Lin with my own eyes, the first reaction was to escape instead of rewriting everything, or the obsession to hope that Nohara Lin could be resurrected. Regardless of Uchiha Obito's feelings for Nohara Lin, it is a fact that he escaped. If it's true love, why isn't it called change, or resurrection? Maybe Uchiha Obito awakened the pupil technique of resurrecting people, or awakened the pupil technique of rewriting reality through time. This is definitely not an excessive assumption. Referring to Bai Yan's weird pupil techniques, Mangekyo Sharingan can definitely do it too. After all, it is the supreme power emperor from the sacred tree. If Sharingan is the eye of the soul, then Mangekyo Sharingan is the embodiment of the truest thoughts in the heart. From this at least one conclusion can be drawn. Obito's so-called feelings for Nohara Lin are not as cowardly as himself. After merging with him, he blackened and quickly accepted Uchiha Madara's idea, intending to create a false world like Infinite Tsukuyomi, knowing that Rinnegan's power testes do not intend to mobilize Nohara Rin but to transform the world. He is still escaping from reality, which can be called false happiness. Considering that he is deformed, and opens his eyes, he will infinitely magnify his true character in his heart. All makes sense. How about it? Are you going to continue to pretend that you are affectionate here? There was a hint of sarcasm in Yu Chen's tone. Uchiha Obito clenched his hands, his nails digging into his flesh, dripping blood. He looked at Yu Chen fiercely, and said coldly, "Wait for me, on the day of goodbye, I will kill you." After speaking, a sneer suddenly appeared on his face. The next moment, he suddenly had a shock of space power. This is. Now it can be said that Black Zetsu, who has been integrated with him, was the first to notice something was wrong, and his expression changed drastically. "Uchiha Obito, you crazy." While talking, it left with its fastest speed. But it still seems a bit late. Stab. A flash of light flashed, and the figure of Dai Wang disappeared instantly. Seeing this scene, many people present showed puzzled expressions. Senju Hashirama wondered, what is this, Flying Thunder God technique? No, definitely not the Flying Thunder God technique. Senju Tobirama denied it. First of all, it is impossible for Uchiha Obito to escape in the way of Flying Thunder God, because his perception, chakra volume, etc. have no feathers. No matter how much he uses the Flying Thunder God technique, it is impossible to escape from Yu Chen's hands, and the Kamui space is also targeted by Yu Chen, so he dare not use it. So it's a new kind of locomotion, and it's not space-time ninjutsu. Not time-space ninjutsu. Senju Hashirama wondered. Then how could he leave our perception in an instant? His perception range. He dare not say that he is the first in the field, but he is definitely in the top few. Obito disappeared within his perception range in an instant, over dozens of kilometers. It's the speed of light. Zhao Yuchen opened his mouth and answered. It should be a technique sent by heaven. Heaven-sent technique. Well, it's one of the secret techniques created by Cloud Shinobi Village ninjas, which can instantly teleport the target to a designated location through high-speed movement. Because it is moving at a high speed, there will be severe friction with the air. Ordinary people simply cannot keep up with this speed, causing their bodies to fall apart and die during the transmission process. Therefore, this ninjutsu is used to transmit special substances. However, the third Raikage of Cloud Shinobi Village has a strong physique. He once successfully used the Tensong technique to move to a fixed position. Now the fourth Raikage inherits the blood of the third Raikage, and Tsunade who can use the 100 healings mark. The comprehension is everyone of impure world reincarnation, it will be alright. And this technique is to transmit matter at the speed of light, which belongs to the instantaneous transmission of matter. To be honest, Yu Chen didn't expect Uchiha Obito's last hole card to be Heaven's gift technique. According to his guess, he thought it was a teleportation array arranged nearby, or a special ceiling barrier to buy time. But since he sent technique with the sky, there is no need to think about running away today. Zhao Yuchen waved his hand, summoning technique. Boom. Along with a puff of smoke, a big blue snake appeared. Go and send a message. I want to know where Uchiha Obito is now. Kill me when we meet again. Hopefully he can do it. Yes, Lord Yu Chen. The big blue snake nodded respectfully, and then disappeared in a cloud of smoke. Seeing this scene, Senju Hashirama immediately approached Uchiha Madara and said, "Ah Madara, the times have really changed, even snakes like Ryuchi Cave are so good-tempered." Hey. Uchiha Madara smiled contemptuously. Except for the white snake fairy, which snake in the cave is not so respectful? You are intimidating, and if you have a bad attitude, you will destroy them. You don't think Yu Chen is a junior? Uchiha Madara sneered. Senju Hashirama is still too naive. Just those reptiles and beasts, really think they can make sense? When facing your Senju Hashirama, it is also because you are strong enough that you don't jump that much, and you usually eat people a lot. The snakes in Ryuchi Cave are indeed not good-tempered, but in front of a powerhouse like Yu Chen, even a dragon would coil up, let alone a mere reptile. Boom. At the same time, Blue sends a signal to Otsutsuki Toneri to summon herself. After appearing on the moon, it immediately gave Yu Chen's orders. Uchiha Obito. Otsutsuki Sage stands in front of the gigantic Tensigan, infused with chakra for control. Soon he got the answer, and said to the big blue snake, "It's near the land of waves." The big blue snake nodded, and disappeared into smoke again. Summoning technique. Feeling some kind of call, Yu Chen waved his hand casually. The big blue snake appeared again, and said respectfully, "Master Yu Chen, Uchiha Diary is near the land of waves." Very good. Zhao Yuchen nodded in satisfaction, and then said to everyone, I'll deal with Uchiha Obito first, and recover Rinnegan. Everyone just go back to Konoha first. After speaking, he gave the Tsunade girls a look of reassurance, and then displayed the Flying Thunder God technique. When he disappeared, everyone looked at each other. Senju Hashirama scratched his head and said, so we came here for nothing. Idiot Hash. Isn't that obvious? Uchiha Madara said in disgust. Senju Tobirama frowned, and said coldly, it's not in vain, at least you saved Uchiha Madara, brother, otherwise he might be killed by Yuchen. Crack. Senju Hashirama clapped his hands excitedly, nodded and said, you were right, I should come. Uchiha Madara. Senju Tobirama, I really can't like you. Thank you. Senju Tobirama said happily, being liked by you, I'm afraid I won't be able to sleep at night. Puff. All the girls at the scene couldn't help laughing out loud. They have seen Senju Tobirama's poisonous tongue and quick wit. Uchiha Madara's expression is also very exciting, they couldn't help laughing, and they didn't mean to bear it at all. After all, with Yuchen as their backer, what else can Uchiha Madara do to them? Uchiha Madara's face was as black as a pot, so gloomy that water could drip from it. But he also knew that the times were different, and he was nothing in front of Yuchen, so he didn't speak hard. After all, the strongest is king. But having said that, how did Yuchen guess that Uchiha would definitely be able to leave with 10? She asked. This sentence immediately attracted everyone's ideas, because they were equally curious. It's a simple reasoning. Senju Tobirama said he already knew the answer. Speak. Senju Hashirama urged. Seeing that everyone was looking at him, Senju Tobirama explained. Although we don't know how Yuchen found Uchiha Obito, we can be sure that he has a way to find it. Uchiha Obito transplanted the eyes of Uchiha Fugaku, which can predict the future within a certain period of time. It can be seen from the 6 red sun and 5 elements enchantment that has been arranged long ago. Uchiha Obito knew that Yuchen would find him, so he made arrangements in advance to control him. Obviously he thought he could defeat Yuchen, but Yuchen's true strength far exceeded his imagination. But when he was about to lose, he took the initiative to ask Black Zetsu to help. Obviously, he knew that Black Zetsu was nearby. After all, he had already controlled Uchiha Madara's affairs. Otherwise, he would ask Uchiha Madara to help, or just run away, because Black Zetsu's methods are weird. But its own combat power is not strong. It can be seen that in the future he foresees, there is also the appearance of Black Zetsu. And Black Zetsu even controls Uchiha Madara, obviously no longer intends to act. Do you think that Black Zetsu will try to get Rinnegan back, and will he make a move on Obito? Senju Tobirama's series of analyses plus a rhetorical question made everyone fall into deep thought. After waiting for a while, he said, if my reasoning is correct, the specific things should be like this. In the original trajectory, Uchiha Obito was attacked by the feather dust that suddenly appeared, and was seriously injured and escaped with difficulty. In the end, he was killed by Black Zetsu and took Rinnegan, and died with hatred. After knowing this future, he made preparations in advance in the Kamui space in the Valley of the End, intending to counteract Yuchen, but considering that his own strength may not be enough, he definitely considered Black Zetsu. Because of life and death situations, he will definitely be prepared to leave in advance. As for Black Zetsu, he just found out and killed him. It's just that I didn't expect that Black Zetsu surrendered to Yuchen simply and neatly. Hearing this, everyone nodded in approval. Maybe there will be some surprises in the details, but the specific process is like this. And because Yuchen knew the effect of the standing of the sky, he guessed the future with intervention. It can be seen from Kamui that Obito's evasive character is a true, cautious faction, and he will definitely be prepared to leave in advance. This guess was confirmed by sending Shadow Clone to the Kamui space to test it out. Boy, Yuchen's brain is so good, he can guess so many things just by sending a Shadow Clone into the Kamui space. When everyone heard the words, they all nodded in approval. Questions and answers. Let's go back to Konoha. Senju Hashirama smiled and said to Uchiha Madara, Madara, now Konoha has many interesting things and people. As the founder of the village, you must be very pleased. Hearing this, Uchiha Madara sneered, Hashi Hot Mom, Senju and Uchiha clan are all wiped out, you still have such a strong sense of belonging to Konoha. That's the old monkey's problem. It has nothing to do with the village. It carries the dreams we both share. Senju Hashirama shook his head and said, what's more, with Yuchen's plan, Uchiha, Senju, and even many sacrificed people will be resurrected come back, mistakes and hate will be made up. The ninja world that comes back will definitely be peaceful, and our enemy is the starry sky race Otsutsuki. Madara, you are not afraid, are you? I'm afraid. Uchiha Madara frowned instantly. He knew that Senju Hashirama was the aggressive method, but chose to take the bait anyway. I always feel that this ninja world is too small, enough for me to play alone. Now that I know what Otsutsuki is better for, I'll take the initiative when I get the Rinnegan back. Beat Otsutsuki Kagaya first, let him know that I, Uchiha Madara, are not mere black Zetsu. Ah Madara, you better stop talking big, Senju Hashirama said speechlessly. You think I can't beat Otsutsuki? No, did you forget the relationship between Yuchen and Kagaya? Senju Hashirama sighed and said, I don't think you can play Yuchen boy, his physique is above me, and his eyes are above you. Also flying thunder god and many sleepovers. Uchiha Madara. And Madara, we are the reincarnation of the son of Sage of Six Paths. Theoretically we can be called Wei Yoruichi's grandmother, are you sure you want to beat him? Uchiha Madara. Kagaya G. Ju Shingna. PFFT. Suddenly Yuchen is absolutely right. Ah Madara is so cute. Tsunade. My great-grandfather is also here at Madara, and occasionally I can get a sense of accomplishment in IQ. Makoto. The point is not that Uchiha Madara is dumber than first generation, but that he is deliberately tricked. Ino. What kind of sweet pet story is this? It's over, it's over. Black soil. Shodai still has something. All the girls thought it was funny. Suddenly, Senju Hashirama patted his shoulder. Wait, so, isn't Yu Chen going to become our grandfather? Grave? Uchiha Madara. Then Shaogang is with Yu Chen, so what? Everyone. Black soil. I fell in love with my grandfather's grandfather. Tsunade. Sure enough, you are sunspots.